Hey, what's good, people? This is episode 102. Got this guy in the house, checking my own show. That's Marc Fornaciari. The episode starts right now. Jesus Christ, you hear that vibration? It's like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, check it out. Outside the studio, a few doors down, they tore down the school and they're building a new one. So we're gonna hear this. The crowd won't. I mean, the audience won't hear, but they'll. I mean, that's just a weird feeling. I'm hearing my desk start shaking and stuff like that. Hey, what's up, people? This is episode 102. This is Marc Fornaciari. I'm Jason DeBeas. This is the Option Podcast. Yo, salute. So good to have you in studio, my man.
Yeah, finally made it.
Holy sugar, man. It was pretty cool because we were just talking about like Kevin Knight.
Sure.
We were talking about he just made the next round with Albrecht, and you played. I guess I'm gonna jump right into it. You played the Pottstown Rumble.
I did.
Albrecht.
I have. This was some people don't know this, and I don't know if Nolan told you this, but this is actually the second time I played with Nolan in the Pottstown. I think it was 2018 I played with him, and I think we were either in the quarters, it was somewhere around the quarters, and we were playing Greg Hunter and Nate Ocasio, and Nolan went out for a block. It's easy cut shot right to me. I think we were up by 2, 3, 4 points or something, and I dug it right to him, but I tried to dig it for him to go on 2, and instead I pushed it too tight, and he made one of those kind of like blocking moves at the end, and he just went down. And immediately rushed over to the tent. I think we ended up finishing out the game, but I think I might have even run up. And he was donezo. Had back surgery, out for a year and a half after that.
Jesus.
So this was kind of our, let's do it again, second time around. But
dude, what a comeback, though.
What a comeback, though.
Look, for everybody listening at home, okay, you follow this beach tournament. Some people only follow the tour. Some people follow AVP America. I've been all over the damn country with AVP America this year, for Christ's sakes. There is something you do not appreciate as far as resiliency, a grind, grueling, and you know what I'm getting to.
Oh, yeah.
Playing not just a grass tournament, not just a side-out tournament, not just a big court, but the Pottstown Rumble. Open for people listening is 2 days. Mm-hmm. I played in it before 100 years ago. I'll tell you later. But there is something to be respected, and there is something to be appreciated about somebody that can do this 2-day tournament, and it's the last day. It's the finals. Always finishes late, right? Night lights are on. What's his name still full of piss and vinegar? Dave Shaw. He's still. I mean, man, he's got something in the drink. Sure. But man, some days he's one of the best guys ever play MCs I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Like almost in any sport. Mm-hmm. And there you are, and there Albrecht is.
Yep.
You know, up against two other. I mean. You expect to see Lucas there, right? Because he's
got the fan base. I mean, that's his tournament,
and he cracks the code. I mean, right? The something I noticed about the Pottstown Rumble. I was in it 2002. I played AA, and then I played Open. I finished 5th both times, which I think is a pretty good result. Something about that tournament is when you get to the final 8, 5 of those teams are the usual suspects.
Sure.
Lucas is one of those. So that draws a picture for everybody.
It's a given, yeah.
Andre Belov? Who saw that coming?
Yeah, I mean he's not going to win any awards for male modeling, but the guy is just so consistent. I mean, and it's a credit to them. What people didn't see is they were on the top side of the bracket, right? And what they did the best out of anybody is they managed their time well. So that's what I try to do a lot. But what they did perfectly was they were always that first team because it goes, top side of the bracket or left, right, whatever you want to do it. And they always they'll always be the first team out there. You'll kind of get those stragglers that'll go out for their round. But if it's in the middle of the other game where they're resting, they'll be the first team out there to warm up. So it gives them that 30, 40 minute extra that no one else gets. And then if they dust somebody, they're even getting more time.
Yep.
So it's smart on their part. And I saw it the whole day. They were always that first team on their side of the bracket out there, calling on the other team, let's go, let's go, let's go. But in reality, it's to get a longer break. Yeah. It's smart by them.
It really is. And as far as energy efficiency is concerned, like I talked to Mark Burek, he said most of his energy was spent on serve and serve to space.
Sure.
You playing these grass tournaments, right? There's let's be real. Like the net is never really set up to 8 feet or the middle. For our rules people, right? 7-11, 5/8. Mm-hmm. The middle's no lower than that. So you can operate out at 80% offense. Still snap your wrist, still throw it down in front of the D if you need to.
Sure.
And it's so weird because Mark says everybody's twitch changes. As soon as someone passes a little bit out of system, the guy playing defense, it seems like they're paying a little bit more attention.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like you get, like, someone's out of system, you get your eyes light up. You're like, oh, finally we can get a point. But in reality, they really have a swing that they from anywhere that they can put away. Mm-hmm. So it's just a grind of an event. All the way around.
Let's show a little bit. I want to show a little bit of that. I have some footage. Here's you off a dig. You slipped. It was so weird.
Yeah.
I want to rewind that actually.
Well, I've gotten so lazy lately playing defense that I usually just have to get my butt down. I want to hand dig everything now in my older years. So to go back to platform digging I tried to do it there, but wasn't the best. No,
but look. But I think the important thing was you held at the end. I could go back and show you the importance of. What I mean is volleyball players, right? I could show the importance of just holding your platform.
If you were with me, I think it was around because Nolan talked about this. The match that we had against what was it, Drucker and Maxwell?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Sorry.
We could say shit. In fact, Todd Sloan is on.
Okay.
He just said, "Oh hell no, that's Mark."
Yeah. So Todd's got two little sweet courts out in Gastonia, North Carolina. He's only invited me once, so we'll see if he gives me the invite again. Yeah. But anyway, speaking back to that, we had a grind with them, and those two both are about 23 and a half median there between the two of them. I mean, they're young. They both had bomb serves. And then I believe it was like about 14-13, and we had match point. And Nolan digs this ball, and it kind of goes in between. You know how the grass nets have the ropes?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in my head, normally I'd just be like, let this go. Let me try to get the point later. But it's possible to win the game. So I go full speed over, lay out. And I don't know if you noticed, I was wearing a blue wrap around my arm, and people thought I was 6 years old and practicing passing for the first time and had those sleeves on. But really what happened is I landed on the rope, and you can still see it on my arm right here. It cut my whole arm up. Ooh. And then I hit my chest on the stake. So as soon as I got up, we didn't get the point. They, of course, one ball it back over after we just passed it over. And then I immediately rushed under the tent, got wrapped up, come back out maybe 10, 15 minutes after, and then Drucker rips me for an ace right down my lines, 14 all. But those matches just took so much out of me. And I even cramped against Burek and Caldwell. I remember the last point I was going back there, and if you ever felt like you were duck walking or you couldn't feel your legs and you were pigeon-toed, they were just coming in. That's how I felt against them. And luckily for Dentler, Donahue, all those guys had I was just reaching in their cooler, whatever they had. Hey, give me something,
Yeah.
And so they were just feeding me drinks left and right. And that's really what brought me back. And once the sun went down,
that was it.
And
when the lights are up and you gotta go.
And a funny story that Nolan didn't mention. So when we were playing Friend and Joyner in the semifinals, I think they were up. We were up early. They were up, and then it's about I think 10-10 or 11-10 might have been 11-10. It was us, and Nolan hits an ace, and they call a timeout. And Nolan comes up to me, and he knows that, if we win this game, we're sitting at least 3,000 each. He goes, if I rip 3 aces right here to end this game, will you give me an extra $1,000? I'm like, I'm 38. I have a job. Sure.
Give you an extra $1,000?
Sure. If I was 25, maybe I might consider it. But I was like, yeah, sure. Take us to the promised land. And he got 2 to make, I think he got 2, or maybe it was at 11-11. I can't remember. He got 2 to make it 14-11, I believe. And then he was going for his third. And I remember going up to Burek, who was reffing, and I go, I told him exactly what happened. And he ended up clipping the top of the tape.
No, wow.
Dude. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Kevin Knight just sent me a text. He gave me a bracket on who he plays first.
Yeah, he's got Ferrari and Vaughn.
And Adam has Bicko and Joel Feldkamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian Bicko.
Yeah.
That's bug, dude. Yeah, so that was... I like the story because, like you said, you have these expectations of where you want to go, but somewhere in the middle of the tournament, you have to reassess. And then you're like, wait, let's just... If we bang everything out and we can't go any further, at least we finished with $3,000. We got some money and this and that. Like,
sure.
But Mark, I guess this is segue to continue this dialogue. When you win, now you have to reassess. Mm-hmm. You're checking your condition, and you're still good to go.
Sure.
And you want to go. So, talk me through that. You just won. He's got his $1,000. You know you kind of know who you're playing, or you're waiting to play whoever plays next.
Yeah, I mean we knew Beloff and Lucas we were going to play next. Mm-hmm. So, and they obviously had that break while we were playing.
Yeah.
And I mean it's just at that point it doesn't matter really. You know, love Andre and Eric. I mean the two nicest guys, right?
Hell yeah.
Off the court, you know you get. You know, you go out and drink with them forever.
I love them. Yeah.
And
vodka dudes too, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Andre and Eric will go with you all night.
Yep.
But it's more about just the next team. You know, kind of like Andre was saying that when it's not really about who you're playing. It's just kind of you controlling what you can do on your side.
Right.
And I knew, you know, at my age, you got to have a horse in the stable, right? I mean, there were plenty of times where the announcers were joking me, going, you know, what's it like to be... You know, you're just sitting there while Nolan's doing all the work. But you got to have a horse like that to get you those points in the crucial times. And I would always tell him, and I even told him this in 2018, if we really needed an ace or something or him to come through, I'd just say, this is why I brought you here. And I'd give him the ball back. I'd go, this is why I brought you here.
Oh, he eats that up, dude.
Yeah.
Nolan eats that.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what his major in college was?
Probably philosophy.
Theater performance.
Okay.
He loves that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a unicorn, by the way, because you can't... The amount of time, and I'm sorry to interrupt,
Sure.
but the amount of time you play in a Division I, a Division II sport, that is not... For the people listening, that doesn't end... when your season's over, and it doesn't start when your preseason starts. It's a 10-month or a 10.5-month experience.
Oh,
yeah. And the only thing that even compares to that is theater performance. Yeah, I had him on the podcast. I'm like, how the fuck did you do that, dude? I went to Marymount Manhattan, but I went to a school that made sure they didn't have a team because I was so obsessed. I knew in my heart of hearts I wouldn't go to school. I would just I was at Hunter for a cup of coffee and it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. So, but at least the difference between me and him is he managed both. I'm like, what did you do? Did you add an extra 4 hours in your 24-hour day? How the fuck did you do that, dude?
Exactly.
He is, but you're right. He's that type of guy.
Yeah.
Hey, this is your turn to go get it, and he's like,
yeah, for sure. Well, that was the thing back in 2018 when I was talking to Dentler and Donahue. I'm going, hey, you know, I'm calling these guys. Who you playing with? And I think this is the year that they maybe their first win. Can't remember, but I go, who you playing with? And they're like, who you playing with? And I go, well, I know I got to bring a ringer. But the best person was Nolan because he's just coming out of Division I volleyball. On his level, he's the leading whatever at Belmont Abbey, everything.
Yeah,
and then he's
every statistical offensive
in
category.
NCAA, he's got the most attempts, and he doesn't know any of these guys. So it's the perfect fit. He thinks he's Michael Jordan, and all these other guys are just participants in the NBA.
They're
and
just
he's
hands.
going out there going, I don't know who Shane Don, I don't know who Andrew Dentler, so I'm just going to rip as hard as I can, like I know I can. So when you get a guy out there who thinks he's the best, it's going to show. Mm-hmm. And it was just unfortunate that he came up with that back injury, but
but isn't that liberating though? To have
it is.
A partner
It is
like
to
that?
go.
It's
exactly.
liberating for him, but for
sure.
you to be like, I'm not gonna give him a synopsis on who this guy was and what tornado. No, he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
And to see him come back from that, I mean, I drove all the way home with him somebody gave him pain pills. He's saying God knows what in the back seat of the car for 7 hours, 7.5, 8 hours. I drove back. He was literally waking up every hour saying,
Was that when he got hurt?
When he got hurt,
yeah.
He drove back, or I drove back, and he was saying, all kinds of crazy stuff in the back. Then I had to help him out of the car, into the house, and then the whole surgery and him being out. And what do you know? His first tournament back, we go play just a random Wilmington, and it's like he's riding a bike, and we just take it down.
Well, the good thing about indoor players is, especially outside hitters, that ability to take care of first hit. Maybe they gotta tweak that little in-system pass where they're not jamming you.
Sure.
Where thank God you're a lefty. I mean, you get to option anyway or whatever.
Sure.
But there's nothing like an indoor an indoor outside hitter that you bring to a grass tournament, which, by the way, levels the playing field for the beach guys, this and that. That's why I call it the most grueling tournament in all of volleyball, possibly all of sports. You just don't. No basketball, no NBA player can do this. They'd have to prepare for it, of course.
For sure.
But no elite athlete from any other sport, including beach, could just go there and roll out like their first place, because plenty of beach players have tried. Right, only fell, like one every match or whatever in 2004.
Yeah.
But man, there's just David Keeter says the grass master, but still can't handset.
No. And do you know what kind of offense he runs? Like a 2-ball in the middle. Have you ever met Pete Devanir?
Yep.
Same type of offense. They like a 2-ball. Keeter likes it a little more on. Pete Devanir likes a 2-ball in the middle about 4 feet off.
Yeah.
And then he just flicks the wrist, and then he'll just be like, "Hey, Bubba," when he puts it away. And then Keeter will all just be like, "Yeah, get some, son," or something along those lines. But Dave's another great guy to play with. I mean,
let's call let's call Kevin.
Sure.
We'll put him on speaker. Just want to mess with him a little bit. If you don't pick up, that's all right. But we got other things to do. I mean,
he's probably baking cookies.
We're in a podcast. Oh shit, he's a chef. That's right.
What up, Jay?
Yo, what's up, man? I got Mark here with me.
Brother, it is raining cats and dogs here. The sky legit just opened up. Like, sunny, hot all day long. The sky is a sheet of water.
Well, to my understanding, it was 105 on the sand, so I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, forget that. I'm just gonna sit in my beach chair in the rain a little bit.
It was 120 on sand. I don't know where you got your information, but
From you.
it is really, really hot, and now it is really, really rainy.
All right, so listen. So on mine, I want to say congratulations getting to the next round. Is this something Mark? Is this something you want to say to this dude while I got him on the phone?
I talked to him earlier. I think he's got the goods to make a run tomorrow.
All right, cool.
It's on
man.
them.
All right, that's it. That's all I got.
We're gonna bring the fire. You know that. There's gonna be a lot of steam on that court.
All right, cool, man. I'll talk to you later, Kev.
Appreciate you, Jay.
So, God, I just forgot what the hell we were talking about. I like back to the unassuming nature. Like for beach, the easiest thing for me to translate from the indoor to the beach was first hit. I was a setter, but it was easy. It was easier. And hands, I didn't really have to catch and throw. Have you ever seen Chris Austin set? His release is the same, and it's still clean for the people who are spin Nazis or whatever league rules dictate that spin, right? And as opposed to what rules are. And I guess, yeah, you don't hand set. You don't really need to.
I never hand set.
Yeah.
I hand set one ball 2 weeks ago. We were playing, or not 2 weeks ago, but about a month ago, Nolan and I were playing in a grass tournament getting ready for Pottstown, and I hand set one ball, but I hand set it over.
Okay. Yeah, there it is.
It came out clean, but it went right to the other team.
Well, look at all of the great players. John Hayden.
Yeah.
Doesn't use his hands. Ali San.
So I'll tell you where I got it from. So coming up, I used to play a lot of Virginia Beach tournaments, and I played against Eel Zimmett. And Eel, I remember playing him. I had to beat him twice because it was a true, not like true double.
It was a true double elimination. Yep.
Yeah. I think we beat him the first game, or we might have lost. I can't remember, but we were playing that second game 1-28, and afterwards, I was always bump setting at the time, and he was always, and I kind of asked him, I said, how come you bump set all the time? I just have done it because I haven't worked on my hands. And he said right to me, he said, I never lost a point. And that always stuck in my mind. So I said, if I'm going to get good at something, let me develop the other skills in my game. If I'm able to bump set all of these different types of offense, because I've played with so many different people and run so many different kinds of offense, that if I can get away with bump setting, then I never have to kind of worry about that too. And yesterday's a prime example. I played against, I trained with Mark and Bjork and Cody Kalba.
Okay.
And I couldn't find Bjork's window to save my life, right, bump setting. But then when I was running through all the drills, I thought about, I don't hand set during the game, so during these drills, I need to make sure that I'm always bump setting, because even though it takes more energy to bump set, because you can't just take a play off and be lazy to the ball and then hand set it. But that's what I naturally do during a game. So I should continue that. Now on the other side, I'm lazy in my older years and I'll hand set everything in warm-ups. But that's more of me. Hand setting is not to mess them up in their hitting rhythm, but it's more of me in my mind thinking where they want the ball. So I'll hand set it to where I think they want the ball, and then I'll kind of muscle memory that to my platform, if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense. Look, for the purposes of drills where you're warming hitters up, use your hands or whatever. Where you're in a certain drill where, like if we have something called Warrior, John Mayer from LMU, because I was his assistant, we had something called Warrior or Neville, where every play was involved real time or whatever. So those are the plays where if you bump set and if you're not a hand set or use whatever, and the players are able to lock in, because you're really just trying to warm up, get them moving, and the other one is the real time appreciation. So I 100% co-sign on what you're talking about. Ricardo, another guy that doesn't use his hands. Definitely, he's got the gauntlet, right? He's got the three infinity stones, right? From the Olympics. He's got the bronze, gold, and silver.
Oh yeah, and a funny story about him. I knuckle pokey a lot, right?
Yeah.
And Ricardo, I was playing him in Reed in I think 2017 Manhattan Beach, and they were a first round match, and I knuckle pokey all the time, right hand, left hand, and I knuckle pokeyed over Ricardo, and he stepped on my foot. And then turned around, made a play, got it up, put it away, and then screamed at me in Portuguese. Yeah, I was like, and then the refs don't piss him off. I go, obviously the guy's a black belt and whatever mixed martial arts,
Brazilian jiu-jitsu,
you name it, he's probably got it. And after the match was over, we were just like, he was so nice, and but his bump setting, I mean, just it's on point every time.
Yeah,
I mean, anywhere he's at. He gets his body around. He squares up, and again he never loses a point.
No, and look, shoulders to the pole is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you teach for the people who teach your juniors or the people who coach college. I've done. I think in just the last 5 years alone, if you could just take the rest of my career and say it doesn't mean shit, the 19 years prior, just the 5 years alone, neck deep in showing people the importance of that, and just the hitter. Gets all of his range back just from you doing the right thing from setting. Not to the antenna. I mean, to the antenna, your margin for error is tight, where they kind of do this or they kind of have to do something behind the head.
Sure.
But no, to the pole where they can move in and out. Any decent hitter with a 4-step approach is gonna go boom, boom, boom. And Ricardo does it well. I watched you play. I have a small sample size, but I watched 2 entire matches. I watched both in the Pottstown Rumble, and of course I watched you play that beach tournament where I kind of tease him. I'm like, this dude's drinking, whatever. I remember that, but which is how we met. I think it's pretty awesome that we're sitting here having a drink. But I really, really like that. I wanted to talk about. There's a slew of things, because I got a great volleyball mind in the house, and given your age, you and I we can name drop ad nauseum. I mean, Seydou Janako, Mike Sala, Greg Hunter. These are all of the guys that I helped prepare. The tournaments. I was still playing indoor, but I just want to have a little fun with who we think is going to get into the draw. I got a list, and we definitely have to talk some Olympics. I want to talk some Olympics with someone who gives a fuck, man. I mean, that's You on this podcast in studio, no less. Golden.
I mean, God didn't bless me with the best reading and writing skills, but I work for Bank of America, but when it comes to the sports, and a lot of guys will tell you this, my memory in terms of plays and what the score is, and I mean, Burek was even joking me yesterday about it, and how I can remember
supercomputer
these plays and what the switches were, and I don't know, it's like God just blessed me with that ability to remember crazy stuff.
Well, there's two things they say you retain in memory. Things that happened a long time ago. Like, I'm old enough to remember my home phone number. Right? I mean, so speed dialing, anyone that's new, I'm not going to remember anyone's number.
Sure.
I know my wife's number in case I lose my phone by heart. Ken Bassarath, my guy from the East Coast. I was his college coach in 2001, so we go back that far. Arezio. And yeah, so there's a kind of memory that whatever. College, I played in Germany. I have memories of those, but I can't remember the coach's name. I can't remember my coach's name, but I could remember scores. I could remember. You remember certain plays. It's 14 up. It hit this, like it hit Rafi Paulus, right? It hit his. Hit his head, goes over, right? So yeah, man. You're on the right podcast. So let's take a look. This is the men.
Okay.
So this is bracket 1, which I call the this is equivalent. If you watch the UFC, this is the 155-pound division.
Now you might not.
These are assassins.
Now you might not know, but I follow the UFC pretty regularly, and that's probably anything combat sport related. I follow pretty closely.
Hold up, let's go back. Right here.
Yep.
Me, dude. What do you think these two TVs are for? One's for the Olympics, one's for the UFC, and one's for. I'm since 2005. I'll call myself the season 1 boomer, the tough one. 15 years, and then you start watching back matches. Royce Gracie,
sure.
his first run. You start watching Dan Severn or who's my guy that was like punching his Japanese dude in the face. They just went to the middle of the cage and they just held each other with one arm, and it looked like a hockey fight. I forgot his name. He looks like Severn. What's his name? Big old Magnum PI mustache. I'll remember him. It'll come to me later, but
you're talking about big jacked guy. Maybe?
Kind of, yeah. He really looks like Severn though, and he's got that all I want is just to have a beer and smack my old lady on the ass. He's kind of like that guy, and I'll remember it. Not important, but it'll come back.
Sure.
But that's how far back I go. I'm also ex-military, so I learned a lot. I learned a lot of that stuff, but my style was more about survival as opposed to competition. So if I see something, I know where the carotid artery is, or I know different types of chokes.
Sure.
Across the windpipe, asphyxiation, and shit like that. So because I had to break that down to people when Gardner got choked in Staten Island. And people were like, if he can't breathe, how could he say I can't breathe? And I'm like, because it's a different kind of choke. Mm-hmm. That kind of choke here allows you to exhale, but you can't take air in. It's like breathing, like underwater you could blow bubbles, but try to take in air. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I wish I knew more of the ins and outs of what everybody. The nature of how Khabib is so good, and how what level he is in terms of his.
He wrestles
sambo, I know, in terms of his sambo and everything. But as a fan, just kind of the hype around every fight, and I really my girlfriend will tell you, she's like, if you don't stop talking about volleyball and UFC, I'm gonna scream. Yeah. And that's the main two things I talk about.
Mm-hmm. Look, my girl tried to get into it. She walks into the room. Do you know when she walked into the room?
Oh, probably like when McGregor's stepping out to face Khabib.
No, when Anderson Silva, a rematch against Chris Weidman. Mm. And they showed a replay.
And you're from New York.
And they showed they showed a replay of the leg kick and what happened to his leg. That's the one match she decided to give this whole MMA thing a try. I'm like, oh my God.
Tormented.
That's like watching American History X and like the only part you walk in
is the curb stomp.
Put your fucking mouth on the curb.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just oh my God. So I look.
How jacked Edward Norton got for that film is unbelievable. Wasn't he?
Yes,
He's
I had
always the skinniest dude. He's like me in the films, and then he comes in this and he looks like he's just yoked out of his mind.
I had a girl that watched Primal Fear, and she's like, "I like Edward Norton, but he'll never be an A-lister. He's just not attractive." This is 1996. He's just not attractive. He's a good actor, but he's not that kind of whatever. 2 years later, or whatever. Oh my God, he's so hot. I'm like, this is the same girl. You call him hot now? He's hot now, right?
Yeah.
He's hot with his little swatch sticker tattoo, right? But he wasn't hot when he was a lawyer in People versus Larry Flint. And she's right. He got jacked for that. Tyler's trying to get us back on track. She's like, Mark and Cody are making it. So let's go to this. Let's go back to this.
Well, I did play them yesterday, and I was walking down the Strand with Cody, and I played them in Pottstown, and the way they were serving yesterday, I mean, they were just teeing off. I mean, granted, the wind was coming from my right shoulder, and there was bombing balls in my right shoulder, but I'd say I was just like, they're playing very well right now, and they're running a lot of shoot sets. And they look good. I mean, if they stay consistent. Is
Cody Caldwell like the biggest hitman for hire or what? I mean.
Yeah. I mean, Cody's a tough one to read. I mean, he's a super nice guy. He's just sometimes you think like he's there mentally, and then sometimes he's thinking of, maybe he's one of those book smart guys who's just, thinking about calculus all the time. But
so listen, for everyone who's on the live feed right now, I'm only having y'all with me for a couple of minutes, but let's use this time. You guys comment with us, okay? So this is the first bracket. I got.
Who is that?
I'll blow it up if you want. Let's do that.
I don't even know those. I think they're from Atlanta.
So I got. Yeah, I don't know, but you know what? With respect to them, won't nobody know them after this match. So I got Drawston Partain advancing.
I think that's pretty clear.
This is
here's what your friendship versus what you think.
My friendship. Who they gonna serve though?
Who's gonna serve?
No, with that, I already know they're gonna serve Hagen Smith because I know Jeff thinks he and Dylan can defend against him.
I watched Sunday. I wrote out and I watched Hagen and Robbie play Burek and Caldwell, and it was just me sitting there.
Nasty right now, aren't they?
Now this is jumper sand, so Robbie's not gonna, he's gonna be able to get to the shorter serve better, where he looked like he, had too many Tenzo tees. But I like Hagen and Robbie, honestly. And I love Jeff and Dylan. I mean, two super nice guys. But I got to take Hagen and Robbie.
And you have every reason to pick them. Did you see them in Atlantic City?
Oh, yeah.
From really the qualifier all the way to the semifinals. This is a $100K purse, man. It's $12,000 first prize. And these guys are on that nasty-ass end getting it in. Sorry.
And another thing with Robbie is, I met Robbie back in, I don't know, before he stopped playing. He was playing with Billy Allen in Cincinnati. And this is when I met Robbie. And we kind of hung out the whole weekend. And I remember this guy, it was almost as if volleyball was a job to this guy. It was at the time. And now when I looked at him Sunday, he looked like he was having fun. I mean, granted, Money in the Bank does that. But he looks like he's just carefree in the world. And he's having fun. And him and Hagen have this general, good relationship, similar to Dylan.
And Hagen too, though. But, dude, Hagen right now looks like he's having fun, too.
They do. And they...
and I guess they play better because, let me tell you something. The last few tournaments we've seen them, look, they didn't have the result they wanted in Coconut Beach, but they look good in that, too.
Yeah. I still think Robbie and Hagen will take this match. No shame on Jeff and Dylan. I mean...
I am a prisoner of the moment. I'm going Jeff and Dylan.
Okay.
3 sets. And I think, okay, let's go Ben Vaught, Brandon against John Schwengel and Devon Berkey.
Wait, who is this? Oh, Vaught and Clemens. Now, I don't know who Devin is. I've played the other 3.
Handsome as fuck, dude. I mean, I might be a little gay for that guy, but...
Okay.
Okay.
He's got a name that ends with an I, like mine. So, but besides that, I'd probably take Vaught and Clemens. I mean, they have that partnership.
Yeah, and also when you
they have an asterisk next to their name.
Clemens does. But when you get, but listen, when you don't play with each other a while and you come back, that's like that old relationship. The things that you miss. There's some things you don't miss, and I pick Ben and Brandon too.
Yeah.
Devin, though, I hope he keeps playing because I've never seen him travel. I only see Devin play locally. Okay. I've only seen him play in Huntington, Hermosa, whatever. I never see him travel. So
now Schwengel's a super nice kid.
He really is. But he ain't there yet. as far as constant pressure is concerned. He's talented and he can do some things, but I'd like to see him do the things that he does well. Consistent is such a lazy word. I just want to see him to do it more game in and game out. But so another good one. This is Corey and Weber.
Now, I have no idea who these other two are. And no offense to Seth and Jacob. I asked Kevin about these two, and he said that he knew them, but up against the hottest team probably in the AVP Next Gold Series Tour.
No doubt.
And Logan, I tell you, funny story about him. We were at Adam Roberts, and it was kind of a joint Adam Roberts Phil Dahlhauser birthday celebration in January.
Yeah.
And I drove down to Florida, and I hung out with and Logan and I were like, there was all these beds. John Sutton had a house. It was, to the roof. And Logan and I went out, and man, did we get crazy. I mean, at the end of the night, Logan and I were on a roller coaster. This is during COVID. On a roller coaster together, and Logan's got his shirt off, just swinging it in the air. It's like 3 a.m. How they even let us on this roller coaster is beyond me. He is just hammered beyond belief, and I don't know how we got home. And I just remember waking up the next morning, and Logan comes in. He's 10 years younger than me, plus. And he comes in, and he went out to, Bob Evans or something and got us breakfast and brought it back for us. I mean, I had a great time with the kid.
He's real. I met him at FIVB. Sorry, guys, I'm sharing this live video because I think more people want to participate. So
12. Tyler said 12 and 14.
Yeah, he's got balls. Tyler, you got balls, but you might be right. Evan and Logan, yeah. So now we agree on these two. Who wins between Corey and Weber and Brandon and Ben?
Now, I've knocked out Clemens and Vaught in Austin a few years ago, which was with Brian Tillman. And we blocked Clemens' angle. Now, I got the scouting report from Kalinsky before we went into this game. And they told me to block, just run 4s and 2s against Clemens the whole time because he loves to hit angle.
He does.
And take Vaught out of the game. And that's kind of what we did. But Corey and Weber, they're
on fire right now. They're the most improved. I think the most improved player is Rafi Polis, but the most improved team is Weber.
Yeah. I think the difference maker is how good Ben will dig balls. Because if he can dig balls and he can take over a match like I know he can, if he gets back to that 2017 or 18 kind of the way they were gelling when they first started playing together, Vaught can be the difference maker because he's the best defender on the court.
He really is
out of the four of them.
Yeah,
and if he wants to,
and he's swinging heavier. Did you see him play with Bruno?
Yeah,
he's swinging heavier. I really like it.
I think he could be the difference maker. Now to say that you have to kind of take the hotter team when you have Evan and Logan.
On a neutral ground, I got to go with Evan and Corey. Evan, Corey, and Logan Weber.
If they played that match in Manhattan next week, I think it's a much closer game.
I think
I think when you play on jumper sand in Atlanta, it's going to favor Corey and Weber.
Yeah, but Brandon loves him some deep sand. Clemens, our Harvard boy. There are so many ways that guy can hit cross court. It's just ridiculous. Look, I was working with Jeff Samuels and Dave Palm at Huntington Beach, and they beat us 2-0. No, it's Dylan Merrick. So I know that's a different story because Dylan's nasty. So I guess I'll pick another example. So I like Corey and Weber to go to the finals for that. Now here, Avery Dross and Miles Partain, do we have them beating either Robbie Page and Hagen or Dylan and Jeff?
I think if they it's no knock again on Dylan and Jeff, but I think if they face Dylan and Jeff, it will be a lot closer of a match, but I think they may pull it out.
All right.
But Jeff and Dylan could win. But I think if they play Hagen and Robbie, I think Hagen and Robbie win.
And that's where I think I'm going. I think styles make matchups, and for some reason, anyone whose last name is Partain, you can't think of a worse matchup for someone like Jeff is athletically probably the most superior out of all four of them. But I mean, I remember that first match against the Partains. I remember I was coaching him in Vandermeer, New York, him and Doc, and they lost to the Partains in 3 sets in the qualifier, and everywhere he goes is a goddamn Partain. So I actually pick Drost and Partain to face Corey and Weber.
Okay.
And
and
that's the question. And right now, this is where I veer from everybody else. Everyone, like, I love me some Avery Dross, and I know y'all some sensitive motherfuckers out there, but I'm attacking volleyball players with volleyball. So
Sure.
I'm picking, right, besides NBA people, is there any more sensitive than a goddamn volleyball player?
Kevin Durant's got to be the most sensitive guy out there.
Well, that's a different, there are levels to that, too. That man created his own, he created a fake account to defend himself.
He just got it. I mean,
LeBron, you're like, that's a hell of an idea. You're like, wait, that's a fuck.
I know LeBron almost used to call him up and be like, Katie, just live in paradise with the multi-millions you got and just don't worry about any of the haters.
Yeah, don't read the reviews, man. I mean, look, on a small scale, I got a lot of haters. I can't imagine. That dude's got millions of fucking followers, and I'm like this little tiny little podcast. I got people calling me a tool.
I do appreciate that he blasted what's his name, Ian Rappaport out. I thought that was good.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do it because sometimes reporters could be weasels like that.
Sure.
Just and Rappaport already has an in. He's got to make some. He's got to decide on what he wants to report of this or that. Like Ariel Helwani. There's a reason why him and Dana don't like each other. And I love what Ariel's doing for the sport, but Ariel could be a freaking weasel sometimes, dude.
For sure.
He could be a freaking weasel.
There's always Dana's side, Ariel's side, and then the truth.
But
so
when you listen to both stories and you formulate your own, don't we both come up with the same thing? Ariel saw a story and he knew to him he was doing his job, but to Dana there's a
line where you can't cross. And
well,
when
that
he,
almost got
when he reported that Brock Lesnar fight, is when he crossed the line.
Yep.
Like Dana White should be the person that he seems cool, down to earth. He might be a dick, to some people the way he kind of handles it. But I feel like if you just had a normal conversation, you went out, Dana would take you out to the best restaurants, do whatever with you, and you would always have that rapport with him. I feel like that guy would always have your back.
Yep.
But as soon as you turn on a guy like that, he'll never forget.
And it's even worse because even with Dana, you can come back. Time's the best healer, and sometimes he's like, "All right, I'll shake Tito's hand." He's still a moron to me, but let's just let bygones be bygones. Not with Ariel, man. The man took him off the Floyd Mayweather. He took him, took his credentials from that, so he couldn't even follow that press tour. So, but that was different because Vince McMahon and Dana were ready to fire sections of people who thought might have leaked the story. Mm-hmm. So just because this guy reported the story, he put a lot of people's jobs in jeopardy, and that's what pissed off Dana.
Oh, for sure.
The guy's just like, I'm just doing my job. That's bullshit.
I mean,
and that's where I call bullshit. It cost Ariel nothing. It didn't build his brand more or less to break that story.
He thought it would.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that weasel shit right there. I don't not want Ariel to be part of the sport. I love the MMA hour. I can lose time. I can lose time doing some real work when I should be doing some real work, listening to the interviews and watch him pick people's brain. And I take between him and Joe Rogan, this podcast is possible because of them. Because now I know how to talk to people and not.
Their hands above better than the ESPN guy.
Yep. So do we have basically what you're saying is if we pick Page and Smith to get to the finals, you like their chances?
I like Page and Smith.
Right. Now, if Page and Smith make it, listen, my bracket pick for this is Corey and Weber. We're taking the longest on this one because it's the hardest one. Do you agree?
Murder's Row.
Yeah.
This is the one you don't want to be in.
What do we call it? UFC 155.
Yeah.
Khabib, Ferguson, Connor.
For sure. And the worst part is the crappy part is with Aaron Rice getting COVID and Rafi and Aaron having a drop. Mm-hmm. It kills Dylan and Jeff, and they have to be like, oh my God, now we got to go through Hagen, now we got to go through Miles and Avery, now we got to go through Evan and but it's just what happens,
Yep. So who do you pick to get out of this
I think
one bracket?
I like Hagen and Robbie. That's just because I think they're playing the best, and I think Hagen is in a better place in his life. From Sunday looking at him, he seems to be enjoying the game.
Yep.
Robbie seems to be just enjoying volleyball and not having to feel like it's pressure on him.
Yep.
So, that's huge. There's no pressure on you. You're having fun. You're playing with they seem good friends.
100%.
So I like them.
I like Corey and Weber, but I gotta tell you, that's a good pick, man. Hagen, but if you've been following them the way we've been following them, and you've been not just following them, you've been at these tournaments playing and competing and whatever. But if you've been following these guys, that's a good pick, man.
Yeah.
I can't mess with it. That's a good pick. So let's go to the next bracket. For everyone following the live version, we apologize because we're avid mixed martial arts fans, and I feel like Rob McLean's here in spirit. Because have you ever seen Sports Debate Tuesday? We cover football, MMA, and volleyball.
So this is how good my memory is. So you said on a podcast that we had never met. We actually had met before, and that's when I knocked out Rob McLean. I played him in New York City.
Ah, with Schwengel.
He may have been playing with Schwingel. I'm not sure who he was playing with. But
Who'd you play with?
I played with a guy named Mike Harrison.
Yep.
And we knocked him out in the first round, and then you came up to me afterwards, and we talked for about 10 minutes.
That was it. Was your hair blonder? It was just,
I don't know.
Does it get blonder?
Probably less receding. Probably 3,000 less energy drinks.
Check out this Jew fro, boy. Look at that.
That's where you keep your coffee can.
Yeah. Shit, where were we? All right.
All right, we got Peter Connell. I just talked to them on Sunday, too.
So Phil Burrow advanced. Congratulations to him playing with Larry
Larry.
Salevsky.
So we got Wilmington, South Florida versus Texas and Texas.
Celia Tucker, man, is a ferocious defender, dude. First time I got to see him in Atlantic City. That was the first time I ever seen him live.
So the first time I saw him was in Austin, Texas. He played with David Lee, and it was the game to get in. I think they ended up maybe having match point, and they ended up losing. I can't remember who it was to, but they were. I was pretty impressed by him. Now, I watched him play in the CBVA on Sunday against two San Diego 21-year-olds.
Yep.
There's some atrocious hand setting going on by the San Diego guys that didn't get called.
He's got mangled, huh?
Mangled sets, and they ended up losing in 3. Peter and how do you say his name? I just call him Tucker.
Yeah. Silila.
Silila.
Yeah.
But I thought they were, they looked pretty sharp. They mainly served Tucker.
I think they definitely beat Burrow and Salevsky with respect to my boy Phil.
They do.
If Phil wins though,
but again, they don't know them.
Cheering.
They don't know them. So I would, if I was playing Burrow and Larry, I know both of them, so I would know how to attack them. Versus, they don't really know those two guys, so it may be closer than you think it would be.
And look at that, Jarko's playing with Alex Diaz.
That's a good little South Florida matchup.
Grossel's, I think, is playing his best volleyball at the right time too. I thought he did really well. And another guy that did really well in Coconut Beach, he played with Nate Yang.
Yep.
Nathan Yang. Doc Vandermeer, I didn't get to see him play this year, but Doc could be a savage on that jump serve, and his transition game's nasty when he's on too. So who do you got?
Who are they playing?
They're playing. Boom. Let's do that again. Sorry, people.
Who are they? Oh, they're playing TJ. I think it comes down to what shape is Alex in. Is he? Because you know what you're going to get out of TJ.
Yep.
You're going to get, guy's never going to give up. And then you know what you're getting out of Vandermeer. And Grossell plays pretty solid. I
got Doc and Michael. I think they're partners where you don't have to worry about their partner, and that's.
I think that goes 3.
Yeah.
But I would have to take, if I had to take, I'd take Grossell.
Yep. Brewster and Michael Boag against Marcus. Hey, Marcus taking some time away from
Jake Dietrich.
I like Bruce. Bruce is playing really good volleyball right now. And again, Boag's another partner where you don't have to deal with your partner, so I picked them.
Yeah. Yeah. I met Mike Boag in Cincinnati the first time. He was a guy who would come out with a 90 ounce. This was like his thing. He had like a 90 ounce thermos or a Slurpee mug, and that's what he would drink out of during timeouts. I was like, okay.
All right, Rosner and Chris Vaughn.
Against 2 Atlanta guys, Banks and Pedro.
I go with Jake and Chris. I think Jake's jump serving has improved significantly, and it was already good. And Vaughn really just needs to not beat himself. Yeah,
they play very well together. Now Banks and Pedro is a big dude.
Yeah.
It'll come down to can Banks side the ball out against those two, which I'm assuming Jake will block full time like they usually do, and Vaughn will play D.
Yep.
It's a similar mold to Corey and Weber.
Yep. I got to know Jake really well because I coached when I was coaching Jake and Earl Schultz and Jake Arudia. We lost to them in 3, but first set we lost because they called an over the net on Earl Schultz.
I can see that.
And the down ref was like, whispering, yeah, I'm with you. That was bullshit. Because the whole time I'm trying to talk to the ref and they allow me, I guess I have some kind of star power. They allowed me to say something to the ref. I'm just like, I don't know what you expect Earl to do. When this set is floating, and maybe it's about to come over, or maybe you have to wait till a portion comes where you either do this and it gently trickles into the coverage, or you fucking redirect or you hit it. And he chose to outreach him. They both almost hit it at the same time. And the top ref, it was crazy. It was like an 18-up thing, and then they got that point, and then they got the first set, and we got the second set. But Jake caught fire in that third set, and Jake killed me. Jake is also the guy I played when I played at Manhattan Beach. I played one. I wanted to play
Rosner?
one before I got too old. Yeah, I played him and TK.
Okay.
Him and Kohler.
TK.
Manhattan Beach first round. So, and I thought they were very cool and chill. And I was expecting more serves. I got one serve. I beat a 4-block switch, and that was it. I was a setter for the rest of the game. I played with Tyler Lucas. So,
those two guys are great dudes off the court,
man.
too.
Yep. Can't say enough nice things about them. So let's go to Burek and Caldwell, the hitman for hire.
Oh, against Holman. So funny story about Holman. I was playing in the Dig the Beat. Is it Dig the Beach? Is that the series down in Florida?
Yeah. Yep.
I was playing against him, and he made an atrocious call on me. And I was so pissed at this dude. I literally reamed him out on Fort Lauderdale Beach. And ironic enough, the next week I get him in Chicago in the AVP. And literally just obliterated him. And it was just like...
Fornaciari holds a grudge.
It was awesome.
That's great. So before we go to those guys, let's finish the second bracket.
Sure.
This looks almost like a beer bracket compared to the first one. And
Yeah, this is the bracket you want to be in.
This is so. Do you think Peter Cannoli and Celia pull us out?
Against Grossell and
You can see the
Vandermeer?
names okay? You can see the names okay.
I got LASIK.
Cool, man.
Just because I really, off the court, I really respect Peter Connell.
Yep.
I think he's one of the most genuine people that plays beach volleyball.
Seems that way.
And I really like his game. I just think I think they will advance in this if they play Grossell and Vandermeer.
I got Rosner and Vaughn to win the whole thing.
Now down below
bracket.
you got
Yeah, I do pick Cannoli and Celia Tucker.
Here's where Vaughn's gonna yell at me because Vaughn and I are pretty close, but he also dicked me over in the Clash this year. So
did you hear that?
Yes.
Where is it? Did you hear that?
He told me the ball. I knew the ball was in, but anyway, I actually like Bogan Brewster.
To
beat
Rosner
and Vaughn.
So basically, your pick is Cannoli and Tucker to beat Brewster and Boag.
It's like, oh, gosh, this is a tough one. Because you got to think too, it's jumper sand, so it's different. If this was Formosa, I would probably pick Connell and Tucker, even though I saw him in Manhattan lose to that San Diego team. But I'm going on a limb here. I'm gonna say Boag and Brewster win this. That's his upset special, boys and girls. I picked Jake Rosner and Chris Vaughn because it's jumper sand, and I think Chris Vaughn. I mean, if you've ever seen him play opposite for Santa Barbara, he was just this amazing guy out of D zone, out of the red set, and for him it'd be more of the same because he is one of those. He doesn't. I don't see him play a lot of grass, but I do know that his mechanics, the muscle memory is there. So it'd be there for jumper sand. I'm taking some underdogs here.
Yeah, man, you are, dude. It's gonna be fun.
Who do I take? Hagen and then Boag?
Yes. Look, you might be. You're gonna come out the other end of the smell like a rose.
I must be down in Vegas trying to hit that one last trick to get back to even.
I got Corey and Weber over Samuels and Cox. So and Jeff is staying at my house next week. So all right. So next bracket we have Burek. I didn't think this would take so long. Sorry about this. I thought we would just talk a little bit about this shit.
We might be here till 7.
Hey, This thing holds 2 hours and 26 minutes, so we're good.
I'll take Bjork.
Me too.
Who do you got?
Beans
This is a great matchup.
Beans and Frazier.
This is the best matchup of first round.
100%. But, both of their serve to space right now, Beans and Frazier. The relentless pressure, they're not changing up. It is 100% shake the gods middle. You know that drop that we see Weber do, that drop, that jump serve that drops in the middle, all nasty. Ooh, I got them. I got
now
Beans and Frazier.
I've played with I'm friends with all four of these guys.
Yep.
Know them all extremely well. Four great guys off the court. Now, I got to give it to Tomas and Max.
Okay, there we go.
And Frazier's going to kill me on this one, and so's Beans. But I like, I think they're very, if this was in Manhattan next week, I would take Frazier and Beans. But when on jumper sand, the Max and Tomas jumps out the gym.
Yeah, Tomas is.
Jumps out the gym. He's got this giraffe tat on his arm. And he's just going up, and it's like, I played him in Waupaca in the semifinals back in, I think it was 16, 17. Yasmin, Cole, and I won. And we played him in the semifinals. He was playing with Maxim Gladden, who's married to Marina Samade. They live in Ukraine.
Okay.
And, just trying to dig these guys. It was like basically us playing indoor, 2-on-2. These guys were just jumping out of the gymnasium. Thank God they made some hitting errors.
All right, so for you, down goes Frazier. And Dace and Dave Palm. I saw them playing Atlantic City. That's a heads up pick. That's a hands down pick. Now there's some close ones. This ain't close.
Now the first guy on the list, I've played more in the last 10 years than anybody.
Angel.
Yeah,
Angel. Yeah.
I play him 50 times a year, but Dave and Angel. Now I'm playing with Lehman next weekend here.
Oh, cool.
So that was luckily I got a partner for next weekend, but
that's a tough. Yeah,
he'll be pissed here that I'm taking Angel and Dave, but
yeah, this ain't the podcast for sensitive dudes, man.
No.
You got this. Look, you got Marc Fornaciari and Jason DeBeers in the same room with this.
I brought that.
Okay. Hope I don't get flagged. I kept it away from the camera.
It's from Costco.
Costco, my man. Lev Prima. Sorry, let's do that again. This is an interesting match.
So, funny story about Lev. We taught him to say, because he's Russian, we taught him to say, how's your mama do? Mm-hmm. And he just says this. So I was rolling down the Strand the other day, and I just yelled this to him. And he just screams from the court. Russian people are, like Andre, they're funny people. They
are.
They're great to go party with.
Dude, there's not a better race of people to have fun with them.
Now, who are they playing, Lev? Oh, Kevin Coyle. He's a good dude, too.
Yep. Oh, hey, this is the good dudes bracket, right?
I know.
Chris Frazier, there's levels of goodness, too, and Chris Frazier's as good as it comes.
I think Kevin gives him some run, but Lev and them face Angel.
For me, I have Bjork and Caldwell for the whole thing. I think Beans and Frazier against Mark and Cody is going to be tight for that semis. My pick to win this whole bracket is Mark. And the path. I think he beats Frazier and Beans, and I think he beats Dace and Palm.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think it comes down, and Dave will probably I'll probably get a text from Dave tonight. I think it comes down to can Dave. Now that when I played Dave, he was very young the first time I met him, and he literally was hitting the ball straight down, and now he's kind of gone into that Mike Morales let me hit the ball super clean. Everything is smooth. And it's no knock on the game, but I just want to see that Dave Palm that I first met.
That caveman.
I want to see that right side 2-foot line bounce that he still has in his arsenal.
Yep.
Because Mark and Cody will challenge you, and they played so well yesterday that you know what you're going to get on Angel. He's going to be just detonating. But it's Dave who it's going to come down to. Can he? Because Mark and Cody know that he's going to hit that high jumbo to try to show them that, hey, you can't stop me. But it's going to ultimately come down to, can Dave take over the game? And if Dave can take over the game, he's the best player on the court.
You have jumper sand, all right? You have jumper sand with one of the best servers in the game, Angel Dace. And Dave Palm at the net.
I
And
think
Dave Palm at the net blocking.
Yes, I think the best server on that court's Mark Burek. But Angel has the most MPH. But at the same time, Caldwell, Burek, if they are confident, can rip against those two. And I know Dave's got a good jump serve too. It's just, it's going to come down to, can Dave consistently put the ball away? Because I don't think they're going to serve Angel. I think they're going to put every ball on Dave and try to make him hit the best shots he can possibly hit. And if Dave comes out and bombs 2 balls in a row, then the respect factor has to be given. And they look a lot better.
But you're going to expect Angel to get a better set from Dave than Dave to get a set
and that's
from
always
Angel,
Angel's
so.
thing. And now Angel started a hand set.
Yeah. So who wins this bracket? Let's skip ahead. I do have Burek and Caldwell over Palm and Dace. Even though stylistically, if Palm and Dace were going to win, it would be against those two.
And it's the same. I'll get the same text. I don't want to go.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. look what happens, man. We sit here. We could have been talking about anything else to do with volleyball. Look what the fuck we're doing.
I know. I think it's going to be a 3-set battle. I don't think Burek and Caldwell take them in 2. Mm-hmm. I think it comes down to how much energy and how much is Burek gonna, how well is he gonna step up to the plate? Because there's a lot of levels to Marc Burek, and he can be the most dynamic player on the court.
But that's what makes it an intriguing match, right?
It
Dave
does.
Palm, because there's a lot of levels of Dave Palm.
It's going to come. I don't question what you're going to bring with Angel and Cody. I question, is Mark going to be, because you know who's getting served.
Mm-hmm.
Mark will probably get served, and Dave will get served, and who can side out the best?
Right. All right. So listen, we're in the next bracket, but we're going to skip ahead instead of hurting a whole bunch of people's feelings. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 teams on this bracket. So let's skip ahead. Who wins this bracket? Who gets into the draw? Just pick one team.
Oh,
so this way we stop.
We fired on this one.
No, but if you pick one team, you're not messing with some of these people who are soft as cotton on feelings.
Who's gonna win this bracket?
I got Lotman and Friend.
Two nice guys too. I like. F it. I'll take Kevin and Nolan.
Yes. See, that's how you make up for all. Jeez, we're not doing the women.
Right.
The women are easier. Look.
I'll take Kevin. I'll take Kevin and Nolan, or Travis and Adam.
Look, for the women, I'm just gonna go through really quick because I already know who I like.
I don't even know half of these girls. They're 14 years old.
I know. Yeah. Well, this generation and the generation after them are really pulling it up, right?
I mean,
we definitely want to talk about that after this. I got Urenga and Fallon. Gino Urenga and Fallon. I got the 1 seed going. I got
yeah, Klaus and Nuss.
Yes, they're a fucking problem.
If I just see them in a bracket, I'll see
Kristen Nuss is a problem. Taryn Cloth is a problem, man.
Which one's the defender? Nuss?
Kristen Nuss is
she's
a problem.
unreal.
For the people listening to us, okay, Kristen Nuss and Taryn Cloth won 8 straight tournaments before their college season started. And when their college season started, they were a perfect 35-0. Their pair 1 was a 35. I'm going to say it again. Where's the camera? 35-0, dude. And then after that, they avenged their last loss against the Brazilians, Larissa and Liliane, and 1 Waupaca, 1 Coconut Beach. They got a bid in Manhattan Beach, right? Manhattan Beach for the granddaddy. So, yeah, I picked that.
I think that defender's going to be in Paris.
Yeah.
Whether she stays with that girl, Cloth.
I told them no matter what, because there's a whole bunch of people going to be like, Cloth, you need to dump this girl because she's too short, or Kristen's going to be like, you need someone with this. Whatever happens, don't move. Don't move to California.
Sure.
And don't fucking switch partners. I said the same thing to Evan Corey. Because what happens is they put you in this position. Why can't you be like this person? Why can't you be like that person? And when you become that person, those same people in the same breath are going to be like, what makes you different from that person?
Yeah.
Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. Stay together. Keep your team. Stay loyal to each other. Associate yourself with people you can trust. Keep your circulation of friends big, but keep your circle of friends tight. And that's how you got to do it. And for God's sake, Do training groups once a month. Don't do that shit 3 times a week. Qatar does not do training groups. The Norwegians, they don't even come to the beach with a tan, dude.
Yeah.
They don't have a tan. Okay? The Spaniards don't do training groups. They do scrimmages, but do training groups once a month. So that's the advice I'm going to give to my Louisiana people. Evan Corey, Logan Weber, come to California to visit. Train with some people, meet some coaches, share some different ideas. Do not move here. Do not move in this cesspool where you're just another drop in the bucket. And for a group that's not really that inclusive to begin with. Damn, I'm just killing all my chances of working somewhere, right? But to me, look, either I'm in or I'm not. It doesn't matter to me. But so I like Nuss and Cloth. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm super impressed by the defender.
Yeah, 100%. She's a problem, dude. Kristen Nuss is a problem.
She's I mean, Paris 2024 has her written all over it. Whether she stays with her partner or goes to
100%.
Kleinman if Ross retires or.
So this bracket, I like Scarborough and Sarah. I really like them. And Gaffney could hit or miss, but when she's on, there's Gaffney. There's the 3 seed right there, up there.
Wait, where are we at?
This is the bracket. This is the 3 seed bracket.
Just for party sake, I know that Scarborough and Putt can party better than anybody in that bracket, so I'm going to take them.
There you go. And they're closer to home than anybody else. I like that. Nobody parties like them.
They get a little rosacea, but they're good.
And this is the 2 seed bracket.
Where are we at here?
And my upset special, I got, well, not a major upset.
Is that Maria? Is that K Spears?
Wait, the Brazilians are in this. Salgado? Yeah, they're there, but they're not my pick.
You like Kraft and...
I think whoever wins between the Brazilians, whoever wins between the Brazilians and Kraft and Seymour are going. That's who I think.
Yeah, I'll take the Mastranis. I should say sisters.
Even if they beat the hell out of each other.
Mastrani pair partners.
So, shit. God damn, that took too long. I'm sorry. We got into that. Let's talk some Olympics.
Okay.
First of all, do you watch any indoor? Because I think you and I have a healthy balance of...
This is... So I didn't watch all the matches, but, I've gotten more watching the indoor game and kind of... And ironically enough, I ran into Max Holt's cousin the other day, eating lunch, and we were kind of talking about the men's draw. And it's just it's a different world. I mean... TJ de Falco is a specimen. When I saw him in San Francisco qualify the first time he played in AVP, I was like, this kid's special. And then you got Taylor Sander. But when you look at the way the indoor game is, you cannot be successful with 2 6'4" outsides. I mean, if I looked at anywhere, I'm 6'3". If I looked at anywhere of playing anything, even a rec ball tournament, I'm playing libero. Right? How are you supposed to compete with all of these men? And they got the crap end of the stick. I mean, their pool was jack loaded. I mean, you could tell all
ridiculous.
4 teams.
Was that not ridiculous?
All 4 teams made the quarterfinals, or made it. Beat Pool A, but to have that small of guys going against the teams like Russia, France, Argentina,
all 4 teams
Brazil,
made the semis.
All 4 teams made the semis. Yep.
Right. Russia, Brazil, France.
Exactly.
And Argentina.
Yep.
Sorry.
And you have 2 6'4" outsides. I mean, they were just missing Aaron Russell.
I don't know about that either.
But missing a player like that with that height.
I think I caught on to what you said, and right now you're echoing the sentiments of a lot of people who are avid indoor followers, and I might parrot their sentiment when I say this. Championship teams have a pair of outside hitters where one is the more explosive one offensively, and the other one is the best passer on the court.
Sure.
We're old enough. Riley Salmon and Reed Pretty. Riley Salmon graciously listed at 6'1", the team captain.
Sure.
Best passer. His passing rivals the libero, or is better than the libero. Giba and Dante from Brazil. Giba, he can hit it if you need him to, but he's the court leader. He's the best passer. Dante's the more explosive guy. You have 2 OH1s on this team. Taylor Sander, who is not the first one to be accepting of the role as best passer on the court, and TJ de Falco, who will at this level is not And if he doesn't keep his head, he'll never be the best passer on the court. I like TJ de Falco because I was not a big fan of his on the international level being a starter. I just think you threw him into this alligator pit. But the way that kid balled out, way that kid, he got blocked, and then you said on the next play, he's got that, and he's full of piss and vinegar. I have a new respect for this guy on the international level. I just hated everyone talking about, TJ de Falco, TJ de Falco, TJ de Falco. And me, who's been watching international ball since I was in Barcelona. My mentor is the head coach of the Netherlands, Mario Trebic, who won the silver. It is a different level of outside hitter, a different level of serve receive, a different level of serve to space. And I'm like, I want DeFalco on this team, but not as a fucking starter, dude. But man, did that kid ball out.
What is he?
Did that kid ball out?
He did. What is he? 23, 24?
Yeah,
he has that.
But
you can't have two of them. You can have one who's 6'4" ish. But you can't have two, because no matter how well they side out and no matter how well they serve, you got to be able to stop their right side. And you can't. And if their right side's like the Russians, I mean, they're so big, and France was they're so big that literally they're hitting over the top of you.
France's ball control.
You can't stop them.
Yeah, France ball. I mean, the reason why France won the goal is because they made everybody's serve to space look like a normal day. It's particularly, highlighting Game 5 when they played the Russians. Set 5. If you can rate the passes on a 1, 2, or 3, 3 being the right, and then indoor coaches at the club level, we say 3 mean you can set 3 hitters. 2 is when you allow a system. They were all what we call 3 passes.
Sure.
They were amazing, but I think you were on to something. You said it in the beginning, and because when you were talking about it, I'm like, wait. He's speaking kind of he's speaking that indoor language about the combination of outside hitters. And Rand Russell, I didn't like him in 2016 because it was his role to be the best ball control guy and this and that, and he was by far, no stretch of the imagination, the best or second or even third best ball control guy. In many ways, I thought Matt Anderson had better serve receiving ball control, and it might be an insult to Aaron Russell. I've been doing this for a long time. This is going to sound like I'm going to hurt people's feelings, but you know what? This is the Option Podcast. Here it is, and I'm going to say it like this. In Game 1 against the Italians in 2016 and in Game 5, I've been doing this for a long time, and I can see when someone's looking for a way out. Or someone wants out. I'm going to say it right here, and people are going to be like, oh, who are you? What is his credentials? Oh, okay. Bugger off. That kid wanted out. That kid got aced and then touched the ball that the refs didn't see. Then the Italians lost their mind, and then the line judge went to the ref, said he touched it. And then the play after that got aced. And that's how they lost Game 1. Game 5, he gets aced, and then the next play hits a ball that pops up. And he knows the damn thing is in, but he doesn't take it, and he blocks the libero from covering it. Sure. And I've been coaching for 20 years at all kinds of levels. LMU's D1, Baruch's D3, you know what I'm saying? Or kind of like de facto D2. Rafa Rodriguez, whatever, AVP. I know I can look at someone, and if I'm wrong, whatever, I'll apologize. But I know when someone is not, wanting out is kind of cold, but is not comfortable in that position, and you don't put that guy in the game, on the biggest stage. Do we agree the Olympics is the biggest stage for beach and indoor? The biggest stage. 100%. You do not put that kid on the court just to see if he can do it. I put that on John Spurall. Yeah, I put that on John Spurall. Marc Fornaciari.
No. I would agree.
He's not involved in this. If I got to carry the water on this one, I'm going to keep it real.
I would 100% agree with you. Mm-hmm. And I don't know John Spurall personally. I've met Aaron Russell, speak with him when he played in Pottstown with Lucas.
Yep.
I haven't talked to Del Falco, but I've seen him. And then the same with Sander. Mm-hmm. Like, I haven't met these guys in person. These guys could be great dudes off the court. Aaron Russell seems like it. I think it's more on Spurall, honestly. It's like you had all this talent, and how do you put it together? And if Karch is able to put all of these pieces together, it kind of falls back on the coach. It's the same thing in baseball, like in football. I mean, you have a short string. You got to find a way to put all of these people together to to make it work. And that's why some people like the Nick Sabans and the Dabo Sweeneys and the,
Popoviches,
the Popoviches, they make it work with what they have. And I think it falls back on him. Because I think Aaron Russell has the headspace, but if you took a Del Falco, you watch Del Falco the way he plays. I mean, he pops his hair back. He's got that swag. I mean, he's got that killer instinct, right? He goes, I'm the best dude on this court, and everybody else is just a witness.
Yes.
And if you give Del Falco, you put his brain inside Aaron Russell with his height, I mean, we're talking about unstoppable in the Olympics.
And that's why I think my criticism's fair.
100%.
We got DeFalco whose skill set and height and world Olympic class build does not compare to Aaron Russell, and yet here we are giving this man respect for playing something I affectionately refer to as playing in over your head.
Exactly. If you asked Del Falco, I guarantee if you asked him, you said, "Hey man, you're 6'4", you're unbelievable at all around skills." Mm-hmm. I guarantee he said, "If I was just 6'11". Or whatever Aaron Russell, 6'9". He'd be like, the game would be a joke to me.
Well, that's what I disagree. He would say, hell no. I'm not. I'm the perfect height. I'm not too tall where I don't jump. Where I'm too lazy to jump, and I'm not too short where I don't jump high enough. But that's the gentleman's a volleyball player's disagreement, and that is what it is. And my other argument is when you look at the voting for best player of the world on the beach scene and indoor, it's very rarely the mythological of the beast, right? Phil, of course he's going to get his, but if you look at 2016, Bruno, Alisson's partner, who's let's call him 6 feet just for fun, okay? He won tournament MVP. Taylor Sander, a player of the year in the World League, player of the year in 2014, and he's 6'4", right? 6'3", 6'4".
Sure.
Karch Karai, who's basically God. People call it a big man's game, but newsflash, people, okay? I was in Barcelona, okay? The Netherlands had 3 guys that were 7 feet tall. It's been a big man's game for quite some time, all right? But Karch wasn't there in 92, so I'll take that back.
I'll take it back a step. So if you, I don't know how well you have a relationship with Riley and Reed Purdy, right?
Right.
Now, when you talk and when you hang out with Reed and Riley, these guys are 2 individuals who only care about volleyball.
Yeah.
Right? They're volleyball through and through. And it's the same in baseball. I'm a longtime baseball player. I've played with many major leaguers. Right? It's the same mindset, and I was a pitcher. Right? No one's out there to rescue you. You're either giving up a jack or you're striking some. You getting the fame or you're getting the bottom of the shelf. You got rocked.
Yeah.
And Riley and who am I thinking?
Reed, yeah.
Are just they have this killer instinct, and they don't. If you block them, they're going to hit it 10 times harder at you, and they have this killer nature that I think is an older generation thought process that maybe with social media and all this going on that just hasn't attributed into the new generation. But those 2 guys, they are their headspace is literally rocks. And they don't care, and they have one goal in mind, to just destroy you.
And they beat 3 teams in 2008 that people like me who follow the world scene, I got to be nice. Let's just say they're not favored to beat. Some would say they had no business being on the same court. I won't go that far because they did win World League the week and a half before the Olympics started. So they did beat Brazil in 3. So I knew coming in there was a foreshadowing of a change in American volleyball. But you're very, very much onto something, and that goes back to what I like about DeFalco. DeFalco does have that mentality.
He does.
And I really again, I didn't know that. I didn't see that, but I got a new respect for that guy. Micah Christensen, I put on social media, pick your freaking head up, and everybody's like, oh, it's okay for a guy to cry, and I'm like, no, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying don't cry. I'm just saying, yeah, cry, but when you're done crying, pick your head up, stand tall like a man, because everyone thought I was being sexist when I said my words were stand tall like the man we know you are.
Sure.
And then some people said the man we know you are to a man. And I wasn't saying it's not okay for a guy to cry. I'm just saying you don't have to hide your head.
Sure.
You did nothing. You should not be ashamed. Maybe set Matt Anderson a little bit more, but given the passes he was given.
What can you do? So here's another example. I never, I bump set, right? So
yeah.
I'm not going to set a tournament very often, and I would never set indoors, even though I started volleyball as a setter. And I played the Crown a couple weeks ago, and we faced Out of System, the whole hype train. And
love me some Micah, boy.
I know, yeah. Micah. And those guys are great. And we battled with them. We played them really close, and they were like, you're probably our best competition. But there's a feeling when you're a setter that you only have, after I walked away from that tournament, I was like, dang, we were right there. We lost 3 sets or whatever by 2 against them because we played them in pool. And I go, what could we have done? I felt like I didn't impact the game per se because it was a short court and we were missing more of our serve. So I had to go back and be a little more conservative and serve like a long ball. And I was
against that team.
Against that team, right? Which actually probably gave them more problems than the jump serve because that's what they see all the time. And it's almost that Micah Christensen, like where I was kind of in his role. What could I have done? But at the same time, all you're doing is delivering the ball. So it's like, how do you deliver? I thought I delivered the ball good enough where the other guys have to pick it up. So it's kind of, you take away and you're like, what could I have done? But really, you can't do that much.
No. You're
just putting the ball up there and saying, hey, guys, it's on you to go do it.
Yeah, and I didn't see the same kind of passing. Look, they played all of these teams in World League, so it's not like you're facing someone and you don't have videotape and you've never played them before. No, they do have videotape. Yes, they have played them before because there's the league, the VNLs and all that stuff happened before that. So, and I've seen them in system where Micah's hitting on 2 and both because he hits with both hands.
Sure.
He hits left-handed and right-handed. He's a savage. But I've seen him disrupt a lot of defenses when you keep him in that box. Mm-hmm. And he's a good setter like that. I'll go. We can name a bunch of setters like that. Like when Riley Salmon, Lamborn, and Reed Pretty tightened up their serve receive, Lloyd Ball became a better setter, a better version of himself. On a smaller scale, Chris Austin, right? Repeat champions with UC Irvine. He wasn't everybody. The opposite shined. This guy shined. But to me, I'm from New York, and I watched the NCAA finals in this basement bar with like a bunch of my contemporaries, and everybody's like, "Who do you like best?" And I'm like, freaking setter, man. That kid with the afro is just like you said, not trying to shock the world. Not just Bill Belichick. Just do your job. Don't be out there trying to do things then you're already good at. And I wanted Micah Christensen to have an opportunity to do things that we know that he was good at.
So it almost comes back, probably when Michael looks back at it, he's going to go, I did what I could with the passes, but what could I have changed on my end?
Yeah.
Well, the one thing you could change is, could I have blocked how many balls better? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really where he probably looks back and goes, what balls could I have impacted? Yeah. And that's what I got to get better for Paris.
Oh, shit, I missed that serve at 23 up.
Or that. Yep.
That serve at 23
and that's
up,
probably what
that goes into the tape.
That's probably what Louis went through when he came back. He thought of all the things that he could impact the game on because he's not hitting personally.
Yeah.
Or, hey, maybe I go over on this ball on 2. Or, hey, maybe I get this block. And that he made the adjustments, and everybody had his back coming back. And then that shows what kind of dude he is.
And competitive setters never talk about the pass. Like, because everything you said is 100% correct. Because I've set for, I guess, 25 years, I guess. We never, they never, different category, they never talk about the pass. So to his credit.
And Loy's mind space is a beast. I mean, that guy... he will go out to the bar with you till 3 a.m. But also, he has that competitive nature where he can turn it on in a heartbeat and learn and make the adjustments mid-game.
Yeah. Look, Riley said the same thing about Loy. I had Riley on the podcast. Mm-hmm. And, think about it. Serbia, Montenegro, 5 sets. That's a team that could beat them in 3 if you don't mind your P's and Q's. Russia... You couldn't pick a stylistically worse nightmare for the United States than Russia at that time.
Sure.
And then finally Brazil. Wait, this is a team we beat 3-0. This is the best team in the world, and they give everyone problems, but we're the only team that gives them problems. I think, Clay Stanley looks like, I don't know what he had to eat this morning, but he looks like he's in the mood. I think we can win this, but I really like the concept of team. Like, to me, Riley Salmon won 5th set against Serbia, Montenegro. Yeah. David Lee won that semis against Russia. He got a block. He got a kill, a block, and then a kill and a block. So
here's another thing, and I don't know if people have thought about this. So if you look at that team with David Lee, Riley Salmon, Loy Ball, and Reed Pretty, right?
Clay Stanley, yeah.
You and Clay Stanley. I don't know Clay personally, but I know all the four. If you go out to a bar and you're in a fight at 2 a.m, all 4 of those guys are going to be behind you, right? They might not, be the most SAT 1600.
No.
But they're going to be. They got you. Everybody's got your back.
Wait, is Clay Stanley Hawaiian?
I'm not sure. I don't know Clay that well.
No, because if he is, that's the guy I want my back, man.
Exactly. It's your size.
Hawaiians are down.
I've been in plenty of Virginia Beach street fights where I got Hudson Bates behind me, and
Yes.
I got Hudson Bates behind me and Shane Donahue over to grab a leg. But if you got Hudson Bates behind you, you're going to think like you're invincible. But at the same token, you got all 4 of those guys who are willing to go to blows. Who on this team, and to transition to 2024, could it be TJ de Falco? Because I can see it from him. Who's going to take that leadership role and be like, I am the man on this team, and I'm going to bring everybody with me?
I guess that's the question. Right? I guess that's the question, and honestly, I beat up enough people for one day. We're gonna leave that for our listeners to answer. But that, my man, that is a good question. That is a very, very good question. That kind of person, first of all, let's talk about Hudson Bates. Hudson Bates is not a guy that has your back. Hudson Bates is the guy you bring so no one wants, so it avoids fights. You see that guy and they have second thoughts. So Hudson 100%. Bates is a different category. It's like, wait. Let's just have a beer. I don't want to fight these guys.
Sure. Now, true story. Mm-hmm. I played with Hudson in the big shots.
Okay.
Right? And I lost to in the finals. I lost to Vaughn and Zaun. Right.
Right.
And I wrote. I've been with Hudson. I played plenty of tournaments with him. I've never met a guy besides Nolan that I've played with that eats more food in one sitting. The guy literally has a cooler in the back of his truck, and he's just grabbing while he's driving, just grabbing and eating. Right, it takes a lot of carbs to fuel that guy. But we were playing Peter Dombrowski and Martin Cabin, and somebody kicked sand in I think it was Peter, couldn't side out the ball, and kicked sand in Hudson's face. And Hudson literally reaches over and grabs him by the neck and goes, "You're not crossing this." This is the first time I've ever seen Hudson do this. He grabbed him by the neck and he goes, "You're not crossing until you apologize." And I was literally tapping on Peter's shoulder and going, "You probably should apologize.
Please. Let's just play on.
For the sanctity of your life."
Yes.
And he goes, "I'm sorry, man." And then Hudson just let him go. This is the first time I've ever seen Hudson aggressive or anything. Mm-hmm. Just a big woolly mammoth.
Oh, my God. That's the guy, when he gets upset, you want a police presence.
If there's a guy besides George Romaine you don't want to pick a fight with, it's Hudson Bates.
Yeah,
Hudson Bates and Ricardo you don't want to pick a fight with.
And the crazy thing is Ricardo, you don't see him coming. Hudson Bates you see coming a mile away, right? There's a difference, Eddie Murphy in his comedy skit, Eddie Murphy Raw.
Yeah.
There's a difference between understanding that Mr. T is looking for you and if Michael Jackson's looking for you.
100%.
He said, "I heard Mr. T was looking for me. I was scared." He says, I ran into him at a party. He says, "I had to put a Jedi mind trick." He's like, "I heard you were making jokes about me, boy." "No, you weren't." "Well, maybe I wasn't." It's like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I totally agree with that. But big up Micah Maha, a 4-year setter at UCLA. Him and Hagen Smith ran a 6'2". Pretty much all 4 years, and at the end, Micah ended up hitting a little bit of outside because they had some injuries.
I was very impressed by Micah a couple weeks ago playing with him. Just the way he could thumb down the ball from the left side. I mean we had to go back and pass 3 against him on a short court.
Yeah,
that just shows you what kind of serve he's bringing to the party.
Yep,
and just super humble guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he's in Poland right now. He's going to go to Poland.
Yeah, I wanted to beat those guys so bad, but it was just, we brought the best we could, and we lost 3 games to them by 2. I mean, what can you do? It's just
I actually wanted them to scrimmage. I got some guys in New York that play there's a state park called Riverbank State Park. Elvis Rodriguez, you know him?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Him, Caballito, Batista, all of the Bameso, basically, all of those guys. And their rule is, from 9 years old, if you can't take care of first hit, fuck off the court.
Mm-hmm.
You have 6'8" middles playing on the girls' court because they send them to the girls' court to play with the girls. And I would have loved to see Mike and those guys just play maybe a 4s game or a 3s game because their serve receive is not like some people when they serve, you're like, we gotta take care of this guy's serve. These Dominican guys, they don't even think about that. They just pass. So I was I mean, height wise, offense wise, I think Mike could beat them to the ground because their offense is too dynamic, especially for one-on-one blocks. But for serve receive, I don't think they were going to get too many aces on these guys. You know, and Riverbank State Park is a pretty good. That is not. It's paid for by a state dollars. It's a state park. It's an indoor gym. And outside the gym, you have a hockey rink for winter. You have a track and field. And it's in Harlem. It's on 145th in Harlem. And Monday and Wednesday night is free volleyball, 7 to 10. But you're not going to find too many guys that only speak English. It's very, very... It's Dominican populated. And a lot of those guys play on a national team.
I'm going to go the refill.
Palomino, if you remember him from... Waupaca, threes a couple of years ago.
Oh, good friends with him.
Elvis Palomino.
Oh, yeah.
Zacharias.
Yeah, Rapali.
Zach, I knew from JFK High School.
Oh, he's a great dude.
Jeff, I met Zach and he's 14 years old. Eyes this huge every time he saw a volleyball, and he played for JFK High School. Palomino national team. Elnis
is
really
is a
good. Savage. Dude. Talk about good serves too, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you know this about me, but I drink more energy drinks than any volleyball player alive.
Look, it's the only thing that keeps us up for this podcast. Me, I'm a zombie. I do this podcast the same way I drive a car. I can do it all day and not get tired, not realize that I'm tired. So, all right. So we did the men, the women. So indoor women, so freaking happy for them. Their first medal. Think about how close they've gotten to getting the gold, and think of how many talented teams that were deserving of the gold that didn't win.
Sure.
And now,
I know. And you know who I was. So I did a few camps with Kelly Murphy at Florida, and I was just I felt the most for her because I felt like she could have been on that team and gotten a gold medal, and Micah, is it Micah Hancock? I mean, she's a great setter.
Yes.
Great setter.
She should have been starting, but everybody's worried about height and tall person. Yeah. And when their setter got injured, what happened? What did she do? She came on that court, and she won the last few sets and secured their spot. And I mean hitting on two. I mean drawing back ones off of her. The outside blocker who's supposed to pick up the setter. She's setting back ones because the outside blocker's jumping with her, and the back one has nobody up. In the Olympics... and her jump serve, her serve to space. Penn State picked her right where she left off.
I mean, that's how she won a national championship.
I just interrupted you too. You had a point.
Oh no, you're good. Mm-hmm. I think my point in the whole Olympics and what we see now is how much money. Maybe it's how much money and how much we are. In this, and I'm gonna go off tangent here. And this is my example of when I was growing up. Right, I'm left-handed. I'm 6'3", which is not super tall in volleyball, but
okay.
I am when I tried out my freshman year, I made the varsity volleyball team, right? I also made which is the freshman baseball team at a 6A school that has 5,000 people. So you have this huge school, and I make the freshman team for baseball, but I also make the varsity team for volleyball, which is extremely hard to make the varsity team as a freshman for baseball. So they let me play both sports. This is in Chicago. And going into my sophomore year, they go, which one do you have to pick? Right? The men, I'm like, okay, well, what are the three main sports? What is everybody looking at? You're going through puberty, you're trying to attract girls. What is it to say? Oh, I'm a starting player for the baseball team, or am I a starting player for the volleyball team? And then you start getting coaches in. Where are you going to get a scholarship? Well, you're left-handed. You throw, at the time, 85 to 88 as a freshman. Your meal ticket's right over there on the mound. That's how you're getting a college scholarship.
Yeah, so it's men, right? For men, for everybody listening, indoor men only offers a maximum of 4.5 scholarships.
Exactly. And you go, here's your free ride, or do you want a struggle bus on the men's side? So what happens? Everything gets diluted. So we're all about image and how much dollars are getting made because the three main sports make so much more money than volleyball that all of the athletes that we have are getting pumped more into those three sports plus hockey, and volleyball is getting less for men. Whereas women, it's like, okay, do what you want to do. Let's build it up. And you see the success of women. And we're losing some of those athletes that could do both. Like you take a Bill Kolinsky example. What did that guy play in college? He played basketball.
Yeah.
And then he transitioned into volleyball. So we don't have that push where we could to get those type of athletes to be in volleyball because the amount of money that we're making is nothing. So
That's true.
It's less versus the women's game that just shows you that the U.S. pumps so much more money into the women's volleyball, and look what happens.
Well, I think a lot
and
of
image and everything else and Instagram and all that gets pushed to the three major sports.
Well, in addition to Title IX, keeping that way above the afloat thing, don't you think that it becoming an NCAA sport too increase the relevance? Like in California, all of the club sizes have tripled
For
since
women,
it's
yes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The reason why there's more of an emphasis or whatever. In
sure.
fact, in the Big Ten, it's the third most viewed sport on their network
For women. And they have
for men and women. There's
men and women.
men's
Okay.
football, it's men's basketball, and women's volleyball. It's third.
Yep.
Which is amazing. And if you look at the top 10, right, like the women's top 10 in the nation, 6 of them are Big Ten teams. So I guess there's some kind of competitive nature to go through too. So, but I think it's because it became an NCAA sport. Everyone's paying attention, and because beach volleyball, they're going to be expanding teams. They're adding more teams right now.
For sure. Every
I was very happy John Mayer made the NCAA's this year. I was very disappointed he did not get Coach of the Year. He won 31 games, and
who ended up getting a Dane?
No, Plummer. No, not Plummer. Fuller, Andrew Fuller.
Andrew Fuller for Stanford?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe there was something political there because I know they were trying to cut their men's program, including wrestling and this and that. But
sure.
And I know it was Andrew Fuller's best season, but to say that Andrew Fuller have his best seasons deserving Coach of the Year is like saying Conor McGregor deserved to beat Khabib because that third round was his best round.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? John Mayer took a team that was 6-13, and the next year they were 22-14. The next year 21-9, won the WCCs, had to beat Pepperdine, right? And then the next year they're in the NCAA's, and then they beat LSU and UCLA the same day, the first and second round. That man deserved Coach.
And if you take all three schools and you say, okay, I got Dane Blanton.
Yeah,
great guy.
He deserves it too.
Player.
I mean, if you win, right, that's pressure too. Like anything short of not winning the championship is fail.
Exactly.
That's a different kind of pressure too. Sorry,
and you got Andrew Fuller, and you have John Mayer. All three great players in their own right. But you take John Mayer and you say, okay, if I got a 16-year-old girl, who do I want to go to college? All right, you have your choice of Stanford, USC, or LMU. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
LMU is your third choice.
LMU's your ninth choice.
Yep.
Past, maybe I might go do something else. Like, it's hard to get people to that school. Yeah. And it shows what kind of coach John is.
Yeah. Do you know he lost Sarah Sponsel? Sarah Sponsel transferred to UCLA. That was his pair one with Savannah Slattery. So I really love the work he's done there. Aaron Mansfield, who's the indoor women's
I
coach.
played him in an AVP. He played with Mike Bruning.
Yeah, he also played with Theo Brunner too.
Wait, no, I played him with Theo Brunner. Yeah.
Oh, you did? That was it?
I couldn't think of who I played him with.
He's full-time.
Belmar, New Jersey.
He's full-time indoor right now for the women's indoor program. He's John's assistant the first couple of years. And having watching the way this man's mind works.
Yeah.
And also the humility to actually have me make suggestions to him about women's beach. And him and John Mayer were very, very, very humble and because I was their Dovo. And Dovo, you can't really coach the players, but you can coach the coaches. And they love the way I break down video. So I would send them 4 things I like, 4 things that got better, and we have this dialogue on.
Sure.
This is why we're going a different direction. We see where you're coming from. And I'm like, okay, it's you're the one credited with the loss. So we were actually able to have healthy dialogue between me and those two guys. Betsy, not so much. Betsy's got she's got her own thing set with respect to her.
And she also has a family too.
Yeah, but she's also mad young too. She had that young person's mentality. Yeah. Like I'm playing it, therefore I'm playing it, therefore I know more. Which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah,
which I think is a ridiculous assertion.
And Betsy's a very nice person. And priorities change when you finally have children and you can see that. But
yeah,
I just think
I
in
got
terms
one.
I know in terms of in terms of the women's game, it's just so, you just see it. Like 2024 in Paris, I would not be surprised if the women gold medaled in both. And I was more shocked that we didn't have both women's teams in the gold medal match in beach.
I was shocked more about it's only for the Olympics, not as far as momentum and hitting their stride going to the Olympics. Because first of all, Team Slaves, right? They went straight Jakaris, like from Game of Thrones. Yeah. That remember Daenerys says Jakaris, and the dragon just burns up. They went straight Dragon Lady. The last 2 of the last 3 tournaments, winning the 2 4-stars.
Yeah.
But then you got all Brazilian finals, Agatha and Duda against Rebecca and whatever. And my biggest disappointment was the Brazilians.
100%.
I thought
100%.
You know,
Agatha Duda was my biggest disappointment in the whole tournament. And the reason on that is
Duda was doo-doo, that's why.
You know, and how much money they put as a country into their volleyball program. I thought Agatha and Duda were the sleeper team. They were the team that if you put them up against, and they were supposed to be matching up against Alex and April in the second round.
Yep.
And I thought, oh man, you know, Alex and April won their second round or the first round. Obviously, they were going to get past Cuba. You know, that one girl was jacked for Cuba, by the way. I mean, she looked like she could do the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, Lighty. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But that second round, I was like, if they face Duda and Agatha, that could be an upset. Because Dude and Agatha have been playing so unreal all year.
They have, yeah.
And I was like, Alex and April had to have seen that draw and been like, damn, you know, that's the worst team that we could play.
Right, they won Sochi and they won the first one, I think, at Cancun.
Yeah, and when they finally got Ludwig and the other girl, I know they breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Because that was the team that could give them problems.
Yep. Ludwig and they lost to Ross and Kleiman, right? 19 and 19.
But they beat Agatha and Duda, and I was like, oh man, if Agatha and Duda have to play them, I know Alex and April were like crap.
Styles make matchups.
Styles do.
Alex and April did prove that sometimes when you got to turn it up, you turn it up. In the finals, look, as far as stylistically bad matchups, the Aussies have housed them a bunch of times too.
Sure.
And you know, by the way, I love having this conversation because it sounds like we're crapping on people, but. One, we're fair, and two, with the praise is amazing.
Here's the thing: they know this.
Yeah.
Like if you're Alex and April, and you're April Ross, you're been to 3 Olympics. You know how you've done against people. It's like if I had somebody I own. This is similar to baseball. Like in baseball, you would always have a guy that owned you, right? And then you would just tell him before the game, listen. You're not even going to be in.
Going to be different.
You're not even going to be in this game.
Yeah.
I'm hitting you 3 times, and it's going to be 91 to the dome on the 3rd time, and afterwards I'll get you a beer or I'll take you. You know,
today's going to be different.
But you're not going to beat me this game. And they would, when they looked at that team, they saw that draw similar to Russia and Norway when they got them again in the quarters. They were like, oh crap, and then as soon as Germany beat them. That mindset had to been, all right, we're going to win this tournament. Mm-hmm. When they saw that happen, they were like, oh, nobody's going to beat us now. And they knew they had it from there. Nice. But they knew that, you know, that was they saw that in the horizon, and they were like, oh, crap, this team's going to give us a run.
Yeah.
Because they've been playing so good all year, Agatha and Duda.
Yep,
have been playing so consistent. I mean, did they ever get less than 5th?
No, they look, and those are their worst days. That's the worst case scenario for those two who've been playing like really good volleyball. Just a Duda played like Duda. I mean, I'm not saying she's Duda, but she played like it. Sorry, but
and I know my girlfriend will kill me for this, but I told my friends that the best thing for volleyball was having all 4 of those teams in the semifinals. Because you take like Anouk, Verg Dupree, you take Clancy and her partner, you take
Gardena.
Gardena. I mean, granted, she can't rent a hotel room, but like you take her and what's the other the 2 brother sister, Heydrich.
Yeah.
You take Heydrich for fan viewership. Those are like 4 and Kleinman. Those are like 4 of the most attractive teams in volleyball, right?
Like talking about the semifinals.
Exactly.
Right?
If you're a casual. Right, and this is the same in casual MMA. If you're a casual and you just flip on the TV and you're like, "Oh, I'll check out beach volleyball today," and you see any of those teams play, you're gonna be like, you're an instant fan of volleyball. If you see Verg Dupree or Clancy or Tina
is just
Or Tina.
enigmatic,
I
dude.
feel bad because she's so much younger than me. She could be my kid.
No, she's she's drinking age. She's late.
But
in
if
the
you
house.
see any
She's-
of those girls play, that heightens the level of viewership. 100%.
yeah, good for the sport.
Great for the sport.
Yeah, good
couldn't
for
have
the
put
sport.
more eyes on the sport.
Slays, I think Slays is good at the time. Slays is good for the sport too. I mean, no, we're getting back to these four. Sorry about that. Tina Gordina overachieved. She's still, by the way, she still owes Dana another year. She's going back. She's got one more year.
And
at
for a girl
USC,
who's goofy foot, who can hit like that,
Yes.
right? She looks like she's high on crack when she's swinging.
I know.
What?
Dane told me, he's like, dude, you know how Dane talks. Dane is, and Jeff Samuels.
She kind of emulates Brandon Clemens.
A little bit.
She's got that she hits it off
Brandon's-
her palm.
yeah, with opposite steps.
Yeah.
So the thing I like about Tina is sometimes, like, we wear different hats. All right, and this is what some people listening to the podcast have to appreciate. How you talk to your wife at home and how you talk to your kids is one thing. How you talk to your boss. If you have a 9-to-5, can't talk to your boss the same way you talk to your wife. So some people think that you wear one face. Oh, this guy wears one face for this, but another for that. Yes, but they're still the same person. This is some people need to get this in a thick, happy head. Any person that behaves the exact same way with their wife and their boss and their kids or whatever, those people are unicorns. In fact, I think I got one in the house, so I do know they
100%.
exist. I got one upstairs, all right, in her office. But Tina, because of how she treats everybody the same across the board, because she has this easygoing nature, and because the level of her easygoing nature is not something that's politically incorrect that might rub some people the wrong way. Refreshing.
Well, maybe
as hell.
that could be a combination of her childhood.
Yeah.
You don't know what she's been through in Latvia or growing up and her circumstances, and might give her a new perspective on society in general.
Actually, let's get that's Tina right there, guys.
Yeah, seems like a very
Yeah,
good-hearted
all
person.
civilian too. Look at like a regular person. Then you see the Trojans thing. You're like, okay, she plays a sport. Yeah, I like her. She was on the podcast, of course, and her godfather, Uldis Lucius of Latvia, is my volleyball mentor. He taught me how to coach indoor volleyball. Not X's and O's, how to exercise your muscles between your ears and how to conquer these demons from the neck up. So that's how that podcast became possible. Her godfather, who lives in Latvia, and he's Latvian, and he played at UCLA. He didn't get to start because he's a setter, and that's Karch and Sinjin running the 6-2, so that ain't gonna happen.
Sure.
But that's how that became possible, and I really, really, really loved having her podcast. Really, just a great attitude.
And did you see who their coach was? Gustavo?
Yeah, Gus.
I mean, what a great dude that guy is. Yeah. I mean, phenomenal. How can you pull that guy?
You cannot get Gus to do an interview. You cannot get Gus to
he's great. He's always like, breathe.
Gus came to my birthday party, right?
Okay.
Not this year. He's there. But before the world went to hell, all right? Greg Faulkner, Gus, everybody comes through on Tower 12 as karaoke night on Thursday. And Gus grabs me, holds me by the shirt. Doesn't grip me, but he says, Jason. He says, I became an assistant coach so I don't have to do these things. He said, that's at the time that was Anna. He said, that's an Anna thing, though. That's Fanor was subbing in, I guess, for Dane. He says, the liberating thing about being an assistant coach and what the UFC has gifted him to do was it's only about volleyball. He said it's the best job in the world. He never wants to be a head coach. He doesn't. He says, it's your birthday, I'll drink and we'll talk now, but I will not do an interview. He says, I will not come on your podcast. But it was all respectful, and he's such a chill dude. He's so just talking to that dude about volleyball is mind blowing. Beach volleyball, I think he's forgot. I mean, everyone's like, oh, I know something too. But I think he's forgotten more volleyball than a lot of people learned. He's really good.
Yeah, he's smart, dude.
Yeah. I learned a lot. My 3 beach, I moved here as purely an indoor guy. Okay, Central Park was my beach. I used it as a cross trainer for indoor, and the beach guys would use me to prepare for tournaments. Seydu, Amaury Velasco has that friend name from the past.
I'm not sure I know him.
Amaury Velasco. How about Evan Silverstrom? Evan's at Hawaii right now. These guys are older. They're before your time. He played at Santa Barbara, but lived in New York for 10 years. Seydu lived in New York for 10 years.
Yeah, I know.
Shamzu, I got to see him for a little bit. Shamzu's like a bigger version of Seydu.
Okay.
But I moved here, and the 3 people who helped me with my beach game is John Mayer.
Mm-hmm.
I played against him. That's how I met him. I played against him in Mexico. Gus, I guess. Oh yeah, okay. Duran Forbes, who's the program director and founder of Beach Volleyball National Events (BVNE), the Get Notice showcases.
Okay.
And Rob McLean.
Yeah.
Beautiful mind, young guy. When I met him, he was going through some shit. He had a nasty split with his girl back then, and he needed to take time away and come back. He needed to fix the software. Someone told me that. He said my friend told me the hardware is fine. The software needed an upgrade. You should fucking train with him right now. I just trained with him this morning. His reach is like 11.3.
He's a great guy.
Make mistakes. I don't even know where I went with this, but sorry.
No, it's good. And I'll tell you, and I'll probably get shit on for the Cali guys, but do you think wholeheartedly that the majority of the real down to earth dudes are East Coast and Midwest guys?
Yep.
Like if you're gonna go out,
is that a question? Sorry,
just a question.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're gonna go to bat with a guy, and you're gonna stand outside in a bar, like these East Coast Midwest guys, and maybe it's just the harder nature of growing up, but don't you think that you would take them in a battle?
Yeah.
And I mean, you have a lot of transplants.
No, Rob is
You have a lot of transplants out here, right? It's hard. I mean, I would take.
But how many? When you ask that question, I'm thinking of the number.
How many guys are naturally born Cali guys?
No, but I was thinking of the Californians that would go to bat the same way Rob would for me.
Now,
you
would put an asterisk next to Benesh. Like Benesh would come, with a baseball bat. He'd be goofy as hell and probably wouldn't hit anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would take that guy.
I think Hagen be down to scrap for his
Hagen would
too.
be down.
And Micah Maha, definitely.
Exactly.
That dude is that's a Hawaiian dude. But besides Mexican Americans, as far as like dudes that are down to scrap, if Micah and me were friends.
But if you wanted to go in a war, in the general off the court,
nope.
The East Coast, West Coast, Midwest guys are generally the majority, and we're excluding the asterisks of the West Coast guys that, you know who you are,
Dude, I trust my own home borough. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. I trust.
If I'm going to go to war, I'm going to take
further than Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson.
If I'm
Larry Brown. How about that? Coaches that
sure.
That are,
if I'm going to go to war, I'm going to have Greg Hunter, all 4'2" of them, behind my back, right? Like he's got more chest hair. He's got more chest hair than Sasquatch. But I'm going to go to war with Mike Salick because I know he ran into a tree and he can brush anything off, right?
Yes.
And,
oh my God, I need to look him up now. I'm sorry. What you keep going? I want to plug in.
No. But like those and Mike Salick, right? Like
Brooklyn
you want to
kid.
be on a street corner with Mike
Brooklyn
Salick.
kid.
He's gonna go toe to toe with you.
Brooklyn kid. Yep.
Right.
Went
Those are
Midwood High
true.
School.
Those are true people.
Let me see if I can find him. Salick and Hunter. I have video of them playing the AVP qualifier in New York together. They lost to the last round to Alejandro Para.
Oh yeah,
and
Alejandro.
And Paul Arezzi.
Now Paul and Alejandro. I played them both. Now is Alejandro? I know. Ariz is probably. He's probably a local San Diego product. Is Alejandro from there as well?
Hold on a second, guys. Look at this dude. That dude who's walking around, hairy chest, dad body.
Yeah, Mike Salick.
That is Greg Hunter.
That's Eton Bennett. And who was the other one? Dave Evans?
Yeah. Did you see that swing? Oh, I gotta go back. We gotta go back. This is so weird because it doesn't look like his approach looks methodical. Watch this ridiculous swing.
Yeah.
What the?
Look at him. He looks like a 43-year-old lawyer. Right? He's got the comb hair to the side, receding. Now I'll tell you a good story about Greg Hunter. So when he got in that accident where he hit that tree when he was skiing, I went to the Big Shots and I saw him. His wife obviously played at the time before they had kids, And I looked at him, and he was just walking up and down the boardwalk. And I went over to him, and I said, hey, man, I hope you're doing well. You know, glad to see you back. I'm glad you're with us. And he just looked like a lost puppy. He couldn't be out there watching. I mean, that just shows what kind of competitive fire Greg Hunter has.
Yeah.
Like, I would go to war with that dude any day of the week. I don't care if he's 4 foot, nothing, has a Napoleon complex. Like, that guy is a fucking genuine individual who I think I would have nothing but respect for. And all the people I've met, and a lot of New York people are some of the most OG people that I would hold friendships with till I die.
Yeah.
And Greg and Mike are two of them.
Yeah. For me, I have for some reason I'm always gonna have more female friends than male friends. I was raised by women, 3 sisters, 3 aunts, or whatever.
Yeah.
But for guys, I always have a magic 3. New York, I had 3. Kenny, you might have met. He's not a highly competitive guy. If you didn't cross paths, that's whatever. It is what it is. But the 3 guys right here in the West, McLean.
Yeah, McLean,
Greg Faulkner.
Faulkner, he's good.
The Cal Northridge dude,
Yeah.
because all Cal Northridge, that's the cool kid school. Between him, Ty.
I always miss
Marty
out-
Lorenz, Ty Tremblay.
Yeah, now
Think
Marty-
about like all of those cool kids, right?
Got a lot of stories with Marty.
And the third guy is a guy named Torrin Jeffries. He's
I've heard of the name.
light skinned mulatto kid. He's not let's just say he's got some work to do. But as far as people who are real,
Sure.
people who I like to hang out with, Greg and I hang out twice a week. He sings.
Okay.
He's an old soul. The dude sings Nat King Cole. He's singing Sinatra songs.
Big black guy,
at Tower
right?
12. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the big. You see him play indoor like VNL or
Yes.
something like that, and let's just say he's the last guy everyone invites to play doubles, but the first guy everybody invites to play 4s or 6s.
Yeah.
He's that guy. He's the guy that hits
header.
the wrist away quick set that everyone has to respect. So,
Yeah, he's a
but
good player.
those are my 3. If I had to pick 3 tight friends, everybody else, yeah, I'm friendly with. And there's some people like I'm not. I guess my Brooklyn virtue doesn't allow me to be overly nice to someone that I don't like. I'm not a dick. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna be polite. But I think one of the things. Oh, Jeff Samuels also. A brother from another mother. God, how could I forget that dude? But I don't. I think what divides me.
I think
from
a lot
some
of people
these
just
guys
don't
out here
understand Jeff.
is definitely. Look, there's douchebags and there are people who are misunderstood. He's misunderstood
He's misunderstood. He's hit or miss with a lot of guys. A lot of guys.
because they know what he thinks.
And
of
it's
them.
the same-
They know what he thinks of them.
And it's the
So-
same with Dylan.
Yeah.
Like, until you get to know these guys off the court,
Mm-hmm.
like Dylan, Jeff, you gotta, you have an appreciation for them when you're one-on-one with them.
Mm-hmm.
And there are types of guys that maybe it's things in their past where they're insecure about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But if you show Dylan and Jeff like the respect and the same, they're going to give it right back to you.
Yeah.
But if as long as you're real with them, they'll be real with you. But they're kind of close guarded. They've had a lot of like maybe they read into the Kevin Durant culture where they kind of read into the things.
Yeah.
And maybe they get misunderstood.
Well, I'm misunderstood all the time. I'll say a joke to someone that maybe it's not like I think we're closer than that, but I'll say a joke to someone where I think volleyball family is small enough where they could take a joke or they could get the joke.
Sure.
And then when I realize I fucked up, I got to dial it back like you. Right,
Sure.
I said when you were posting, I came in late on the house on that tournament, and I know when I looked at the whole game, I understood why you're like, dude, I'm setting my forearms, and you're just letting these guys chuck, and I think that was like the argument we were talking about.
Well,
and when I saw that, for the people listening, I was like, man, that dude's drunk, and you were like, you called me out on that, you're like, hey.
So my biggest thing in volleyball, and you will ask any high level guy,
Mm-hmm.
and you can ask John King, you can ask all the AVP refs, and they'll tell you who's the best or who's the guy that we want in here. You can ask Suzanne Lowry, you can ask all these people, and they'll say
Carson.
that they'll say that they want me to the next step to come into reffing, and you can ask these guys, and they'll be like, "Who's the best ref?" And I even have a gift certificate because I reffed the CBA semifinals when I rolled up for $50.
Nice.
Like, I take reffing more seriously because I'm like, if you're gonna sit down in a chair, that's when I get pissed off, because you're not showing the same respect to the four other individuals who are on the court. Just at least for 30 minutes of your life, get up and give the same to equal sides. It doesn't matter who you're friends with. Call it the same way.
You got this one short time.
Exactly. Act like you want to be there. Don't act like you're bigger than the moment, because you deserve to give the same equal treatment to both teams. And you can't see shit from sitting in a beach chair 4 feet off the court where you're attempting to call it. And then your conviction is nothing that can be you open your interpretation by sitting 4 feet off the court 100%. And not caring.
100%.
If you stand up and sit right next to the court, and I called Eric Zaun was one of my closest friends, right? And he grew up, and it was a big loss in my life, like he's best friends with Vaughn, but when he went to college, I was his main guy. Like, his dad at the funeral said, Eric looked at you like you were a brother. And that was the hardest thing I had to go through, was his funeral, right? To go through, to get hugged by his parents. And his parents came to every one of my games. Everyone. Didn't matter if Eric was there in the qualifier. But the respect that I had for that guy, and giving it my all when I referee, like, giving it to the players to give them the best you can give, even if you've been knocked out, means a lot, right? You have no bias in the game. Like, I roomed with Avery Dross when he was playing with Beloff in the finals of Pottstown. I was reffing and called Avery's hands. We were in the same hotel room.
Yep.
And Avery comes to me and goes, "You're my only fan. You're the only person who cares about me in this crowd." I go, "Avery, it's not about you. I'm friends with Hudson and Mark too."
Yeah, it's not.
But I'm going to call it 50-50 no matter what I do. But it's an injustice if you sit down 4 feet away from the court and you don't give the people the same thing that you would want. Right?
Great. And it's strange you mentioned Zaun, R.I.P., God rest his soul, just a great human being. Because we were on a conversation of people who are misunderstood.
100%.
Yeah,
I still have the
poster boy for misunderstood.
I still have the last text message on my phone from him, and I'll never delete it in my life.
No.
It will always sit there at the bottom, and
what did it say? I came with my dick in my hand.
You name
something
it.
like that.
I was the same guy who went down to Florida with him for 12 hours. Drove in the car. He wanted to play Bobby Shmurda. Like, I wanted to kill him, pull over the side of the road, and be like, "Come on, dude, just like tighten it the F up." He's calling U-Haul companies, talking about transporting gators. Like, I'm older. I know this is funny to everybody.
It's hilarious.
And
retrospectively, it's funny to you.
It's too. Retrospectively. But, honestly, when Eric died, like, it was the East Coast. It was our guy. You know what I mean? And it was our guy, and it was the one we were cheering for, So I took solace out of, I sat next to Shane Donahue, right? Shane Donahue, I've always looked up to. He's the most real MFer. Him and Andrew Dentler are the most real MFers I've met in volleyball. And
I love me some Dentler.
And I wasn't a part of ECM, East Coast Mafia. I was like in the Carolinas, but they accepted me, and I was older, and they kind of gave me like that, beat in, punch in. And same with Vaughn. And sitting next to Shane Donahue, who's a stone cold, if you watch Shane Donahue play, that guy has a mentality like, I'm the best thing, and he's fun to watch, right? He's a human specimen. 6'1", jumps out the gym.
Yeah.
But to watch an iron guy like that, who never shows emotion, right? And sitting next to him in the funeral, I'm by myself, he's next to his wife, and literally he's dying crying. And I put my arm around that guy, and I said, "Dude, because his parents are talking about Shane introducing Eric to the game and how much Shane meant to Eric." And I put my arm around that guy, and I said, "We're in this together, basically." And just to have a guy like that start crying is big. I don't show emotion. That guy is like the Hulk to me. And that was just a moment I'll never forget. And Josue Castillo down, sit next to me, and Eric Lucas behind me and his whole family. I mean, those are moments I'll never forget in my life.
I liked his moments of compassion.
I did.
That man, if it's crazy because people say you got to get to know him to see that, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's just random. In New York, the AVP, he went to Central Park with Avery Drost and he told Trevor, Dougie Fresh came too, Ricardo, because I mentioned something to Eric. I was like, it would mean everything in the world. So like there's a lot of kids that playing Central Park look up to you. There's the old school guys that know
Sure.
who you are. And I said, just fuck. I mean, I'm stuck qualifiers. I'm with Jeff and Vandermeer. We gotta fucking play the Partains again. I said it would mean everything in the world if you just rolled up. And I found out later because they took pictures, they took video. And he came back. I said, "How did it go?" He says, "I showed it with my dick in my hand."
Yeah.
Which is his way of saying, right? It's Zaun. I mean, you are the better translator of what that means to what he was trying to say and how we're supposed to take it. But I didn't get it, but I got it. I didn't get it, but I couldn't. And I couldn't stop. I spit out my drink. He caught me, and I think that's what he likes to do. I think sometimes he just wants to say something to see if you're paying attention.
Sure.
Because sometimes if you ask someone, "Hey, good morning, how you doing?" They're just gonna say fine, and they don't really care how you doing. They're just saying how you doing because it's instinctive. But Eric saying I came with my whatever. I'm listening. I got you, and by the way, holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P. Mad love for that dude, man. Another East Coast R.I.P. John Rose. I remember he passed away.
Great
too,
guy.
so,
And you know, I knew John. I knew John. My sister is an FBI agent, and she was stationed in Hoboken or Newark, and lived in Hoboken and trained with John in CrossFit. And that's how I met John the first time when I played against him. And you want to talk about like a down to earth individual, like great guy, and just a big loss for the volleyball community. I mean,
John's a guy like if you fight him, you're probably if you get into a fist fight with him, you're his teammate a week later. Like Horacio Souza ended up rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Slept him.
Yeah.
John's tapping and Horacio's like tapping.
Yeah.
A week later, they win a Point Pleasant or something like that.
Yeah.
Or so, that's it, one of those.
I remember I showed up to a tournament with Hudson, and we were playing John in the first round, and John turned to me and goes, "Fuck, we're losing this game," and he gave me all he can handle, and he told his girl, whoever he was dating at the time, because he always cycled through. But he was like, sorry, we played like one of the best teams here. We'll get him next round. I mean, he was just a good dude. I mean, would be there for you. Great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll miss him to death. I mean, adventurous. Obviously, cave diving is not the most safe thing in the world, but what are you going to do if things happen?
Yeah, look, every time I think about that, I think about my girl who's... To call her adventurous is an understatement. She likes to swim with sharks and fucking pet sharks. Look, relationship stays intact because we don't have to do everything together.
Sure.
I'm not doing that. I'm not swimming with no sharks like shit's eye. Come along. Yeah, sure. 2 words: emergency snack. No, I'm not. So. God bless him, man, and God bless his whole family. God bless everyone in the volleyball community who was just shattered by it. John Stalsa was a big fan of his and a close friend. They were Friday night poker games consisted of John Rose and just those guys that helped put the Central Park courts there. Mm-hmm. They raised like $110,000 or something. And they tore down the one. And built 2 like beautiful level courts right next to across from where Tavern on the Green used to be. Mm-hmm. So before we go, I want to wrap up in a minute, but I wanted to talk about the Olympic men's because I got a fan question that was sent to me because I knew you were coming on the show, and basically it was about Taylor Crabb and Jake Gibb and Tri Bourne and Jake Gibb, and it's a volleyball question, like which
Who do you
one
think would have done better?
Like which one seemed like to be the better pair? Was it?
So
that's without stepping on toes. I mean, we're trying to finish this on a nice note.
So I'll give you my aspect of that. I don't know Jake Gibb, but I know the other 3.
Okay.
And I think Triborn and Trevor mesh a lot better, and I think they 100%. Would have done very well. Triborn's also. I was in Atlantic City with him when John Rose was living, and I said, "Try, let's go put, $100 down on red or black in the casino," and he was just like so nervous, whatnot, and kind of took me back that this guy's, not kind of a risk taker, but But what I saw from him there, and then I approached him again after, his whole disease and what happened with him, and when he was very skinny and kind of looked depleted. That guy has the killer instinct, right? He was just kind of down in the dumps, and you see what he is. And that guy's a fighter.
Yeah,
100%.
His first ball side out percentage was
his tenacity to get back on it. I mean, you could just see it in his eyes. When I saw him, he was like a string bean in 2000. I think it was 2017 in the Manhattan Beach Open.
Yeah,
he looked literally like he shouldn't be playing volleyball. And now where you see him, he is traps blazing, just another level of athlete. Like I love his game. But on the flip side, you take Taylor Crabb, right? So Taylor always kind of, to me, before I really got to know him, was this kind of flamboyant, everything kind of came easy. Now, Taylor and I went to a Dave & Buster's, or whatever it's called, the game, and I'm a pretty damn good athlete. This guy effing beat me at every game in that place. Even almost baseball, I think he beat me at. Or if not, his girlfriend beat me at it.
Okay.
Like literally, if it came down to pressing a button on the ticket machine, hitting the Wheel of Fortune, he was trying to beat me. And I think in my head, what kind of athlete like Taylor Crabb has that kind of competitive nature where he goes, I can't lose to anybody. So in that respect, I feel like him and Jake and just the mentality of Taylor Crabb is on another level. I've never met any athlete like Taylor Crabb in terms of the competitive nature. Like he was literally wanting to beat me. If it was put a quarter in and grab a stuffed animal, he was wanting to beat me.
Yeah, that's all right. So here's my assessment. Here's the difference. The thing I liked about Try and Gibb as a team was when international teams play Jake and Taylor,
Sure.
They have a decision to make on who they're going to serve.
Sure.
They didn't know. With Bourne and Gibb,
they didn't know who to serve.
No, they did know who to serve. They're not serving.
Right. It's like when Conor McGregor fought Chad Mendes.
Yeah.
Chad Mendes said, "I fought you on 3 weeks' notice." Conor McGregor said,
Yeah.
"I fought you on 3 weeks' notice too." It's the same. It's the same principle. No one knew how to attack Jake and Try.
But they knew not to serve Try.
Yes.
With that was the only difference. They knew if it was Jake and Try, they're serving Jake all the way. With Jake and Taylor, they had a decision.
But if you looked in that first game, they tried to test Try in that first pool play game, and then they kind of scout. That was the only scouting report.
Side out percentage was it was ridiculous. He was first.
Yeah,
by a lot. It was 83%, 83 point something percent. It was ridiculous. Now here's where I like Jake and Taylor better. Jake, when Taylor got a dig, you almost knew he's going to get the point.
Sure.
Every time he gets a dig and he's got that hold, sometimes he does a lazy dip and the speed of the ball, he just misses altogether. It's like, all right, that one got away. But when he gets a dig, you almost you're at the edge of your seat because you just want to know how, not if he's going to get the kill on transition. I think Jake and Taylor were better on transition because of Jake, but I think their blocking and their side out game was more dominant because Try was allowed to jump serve more, and Jake didn't really need the jump serve to whatever. He just so
I would have liked if Jake jump served more.
Yeah, they had a lot of good success because it's like when you have a new girlfriend. You're on this honeymoon phase. It's like, wait, we got this in common? Wow, oh shit, you don't like mayonnaise either? Me neither. So they're still feeling at each other. And all of these good qualities, they got together and they translated to the game really well. Did they beat Alisson and Alvaro in pool? Right?
They did.
Yeah. So
wait, no. Phil and Nick beat.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, so they beat. No, they didn't beat Qatar. No one was beating Qatar in that pool.
They lost. Wait.
They had to win one game.
Gibb and Try beat. God, I gotta think.
It was a tough. All I know is the Americans had two tough ass pools too, and they come out both of them come out second.
They lost to Qatar.
Right.
They beat Switzerland.
Yeah.
And they beat.
Well, Jake and Taylor weren't going to beat Qatar either.
They beat Adrian.
Yeah. Right. Oh, Karambala.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rossi. And that's a team I think Jake Taylor and Gibb beat as well.
If I don't know Jake personally, and I feel like I would have a great relationship with Jake if I met him off the court.
He's easygoing.
I think Jake Gibb is the most decorated volleyball player other than Phil.
Yeah. They're both riding off into the sunset this year, right?
I think what Jake has done consistently, I mean, God didn't bless him.
Partners.
God didn't bless him with the best bounce in the game.
No.
But the guy's court vision, the way he blocks, the way he lets his defenders play around him, he takes what he needs to take.
Yeah.
And the way he can hit high and deep into the seam and angle. I mean, I think he's the second best blocker to ever play.
But I also know I sound like I'm repeating myself, but he's, as far as partners where you don't have to deal with your partner, I get that from him. I get, like, you don't have to deal with him. He's like, just if we need to be here at this time, boom, we're here. We're this. There's no.
He takes it professionally.
There's no freaking drama with that.
Sure.
Guy. You know what I'm saying?
You know what you're getting out of him.
And I know everyone felt bad for Taylor Crabb having to pull out and this and that. And the whole time I'm like, Taylor, bro, I love you. You cool, and I'm glad you gave me the interview. But I gotta say something. Jake was the one I felt worse for than Taylor.
Really?
I mean, Taylor with what he had to go through the last 2 years with the allegations and all that stuff. To me, it was like OJ getting caught with another dead girl.
Sure.
But and for Jake, even though he knew it wasn't Taylor's fault, there had to be a part of him that was like, here like, I support my brother, but damn, why does it always have to be a fucking show?
I'm here, but why is the other show going?
And Taylor, I mean, the rare occasion he might listen to this, my message is stay the fuck off of social media, dude. Like, if someone if USA Volleyball says don't coach juniors, don't post on Instagram, I had a great time coaching juniors. That is just willfully ignorant. It's a
different mentality. You and I are both older, right? Like, quit reading into the whole bullshit, basically.
Yeah.
I just know from being friends with Trevor and Taylor. And Trevor, I would, like, if Trevor and I went in Dave & Buster's or we played any other sport, Trevor and I would probably go 60-40 or 50-50. And Trevor's a nasty competitor. I love his shit talking. But when Taylor and I step up, that guy's got a look in his eye like he wants to effing kill me.
Yeah.
Like he wants to drown me.
Yeah.
And that's hard to find in a person. And I've played with a lot of baseball players like David Wright.
Yeah.
Mark
Do you
Reynolds.
know how hard it is for someone of his height to be player of the year, NCAA, AVCA player of the year?
He won't even let you get like 1 foot in front of the door if you're going to hold the door open.
I'll say that again. 2013, Long Beach State outside hitter, the man won player of the year. I only knew him because I have a friend, Luis Mendez. There's a team called Hustle and Flow, and Ren Osborne was a third string outside. And I said, third string to who? It was Taylor Sander and Taylor Crabb. But go ahead, sorry.
And here's another thing you might not think about. When he transitioned, and he's going to play with his brother eventually, probably Paris 2024, and I'm going to be happy to see those guys play together.
Yeah.
But when you look at him from 2016 to 2020, and he made this switch maybe 2018 to Jake?
Yeah.
From his brother? And they both did very well switching.
Well, the first brother versus brother match was 2017, so it was even before that.
But when I first met Taylor, and he probably doesn't remember this, and he'll probably be like, well, dude, what the hell are you talking about? When I first met him with San Francisco, I think it was like 2016. Mm-hmm. He was playing with Trevor at the time, and they made, I think, the semifinals. And he's out at the bar getting effed up beyond belief. The bouncer is, and I didn't know him personally. If I knew him the way I do, if I knew Taylor the way I know him now, I would have dragged him myself. But I was like, this is a cocky, arrogant MFer. Like, I didn't know him. I just knew of athletes like him.
Yeah.
The bouncer's dragging him out by his neck and going, dude, you're out of here. And he's playing in the semifinals of the AVP San Francisco the next day. Can you imagine when Jake got a hold of him? Jake probably said, all right, listen, kid. All this is done. You're changing your ways. If you want to make a run at the sport and be a legend, you follow my path. And look at him now.
Yeah, look,
it's that switch that he turned.
I like when he keeps the mood light. The first time I met Taylor, 2015, he's playing with Spencer McLaughlin, who's Sparaz's assistant.
Hey, dude, he's great. Yeah, great dude.
And I call Taylor Dirty White Boy because he's playing, and it's 98-degree weather. It's at the Hudson Pier. It's hot as hell, and he's playing with sleeves. He's playing with a sweater, and didn't take off his shirt until the third round qualifier. He was in the qualifier. He had to qualify. But in the background, and they looped the song "Dirty White Boy" by a foreigner.
Oh yeah.
'Cause I'm a dirty white boy. So every time I see him play, and this is ridiculous of me, I think of the song "Dirty White Boy." So occasionally I'll be like, "That's a good shot by Dirty White Boy," and I'm like, I gotta stop saying that, and I'm not gonna say this until the shit sticks. But anyway, Jake, sorry, Taylor Crab, mad respect, mad love for you. You're a knucklehead sometimes, but the sport loves you, and we love you even more. So that's just me being real.
Yeah.
Better that it comes from, because to me, how I feel about people is always one's always going to be open and notorious, and two, it's not something I would not say to him.
Yep.
Like there's a bunch of things I said to players and commentators. I'm like, look, better that you hear from me now,
sure,
than for me to smile in your face and act like I'm a fan and then talk behind your back.
And
That's not how I roll.
And I'll leave you at these 2 points. Please. The one, I'll always say that you can always measure a guy by his competitive nature on and off the court, but it really matters how you are off the court. Like, Taylor Crab might seem arrogant, but when you're one-on-one with him, cool dude, picked up my dinner the first time. You didn't have to do that. Yeah. I should have gotten you dinner. Like, I'm older than you. It should be the older guy gets the younger guy.
Yeah,
dinner,
that's what
right?
I was thinking.
I'll never forget that. Right? So, like, next week when I run into him, I'll be like, now it's my turn, right? Mm-hmm. I owe you dinner. So respect off the court means more than shit talking in the court. Because I shit talk like crazy. I don't say shit when I play. But if you make a bad call on me, or you want to go, like, the worst thing you can do is talk crap to me, because that gets me going, right?
No, it's like eating Popeye spinach.
Exactly. Like, I am very quick with chirping it right back to you. But the relationships you make off of the court, and I tell Kevin, I tell Nolan, I tell a lot of these younger guys, the relationships you make off of the court go a long way. The difference, and I'll give you an example, like where I am right now, I'm a month in Hermosa Beach, right? I'm staying in a $2 million house by myself. I have a $3,000 e-bike, a $7,000 golf cart that I can take out at my disposal. Did I get that from being a dickhead?
No. You're
whatever relationships you make in volleyball, make them off the court. Be that real person. Buy that person a drink. It doesn't matter if they have X amount of millions of dollars. That will sink in their head. Mm-hmm. Be respectful, because you never know when you're going to need a place to stay, a pickup from the airport, whatever, a connection with partners. That goes a million degrees. Yep.
Yeah. And that's a perfect place to leave it. We have a choice to actually put in the new file for the podcast, or we could just wrap up here. But I think we've done enough damage.
We could be here all night.
Oh my God, no doubt. I'm meeting up with Wendy Jones from the Optimist Journal.
We got a lot left.
In fact, if you want to join us later, we're doing like a happy hour, half dinner thing.
Okay.
At the place that used to be Rebel Republic. It's across from Sharky's on the pier, on the strip in Hermosa Beach.
Which street is that in?
I forgot what it's called. It's the George Lopez restaurant, or the new it's the pier, basically the pier, Hermosa Pier.
Hermosa Beach Pier. So like 8th Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
8th Street. Yeah. So I'll send you a text. I'm supposed to have Winter. She's magnificent. She's like a kind of a positive energy person. Has a podcast.
I saw her. She was on 100, right?
Yeah. She's my pick all along. She's good. She's good girl. She's fucking awesome. She's also my travel wife.
Okay.
I went to Coconut Beach. She's like, can I come? I'm like, yeah. I'm going to Atlantic City. She's like, I want to come too. I'm like, sure.
Nice.
So she's been my travel wife. Hey, then people who want to know more about Marc Fornaciari, do you have a Instagram handle? We could just
it's tag that. MDF and then ORN is in Nancy AC18.
Nice.
It's like fornicate.
There it is. So listen, for all of you at home, this guy might love you, but I can't stand you. In fact, I'm out of here, all right? I'm done with you. For all of you at home, for all of you on your iPad, for all of you on your iPhones at Starbucks, trying to get that evening coffee, for all of you on your desktop. Who runs the world? Old school. For my man, Marc Fornaciari, I'm Jason DeBeas. This is episode 1.
Yeah, get your Red Bulls.
I'm going to hit my music. We're out. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify, and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.